Sometimes you won't know until you try and you fail. That's where experience comes in. So a lot of times, unfortunately, you have to get burned and fail to learn it.
How long do you guys give an idea until you're like, I have to move on to the next one?
You should give your business a minimum of a year. It's not going to do well in the first year. And you just have to kind of be prepared to not be earning the type of money you think you're going to be earning in the first year.
Yeah. You think about this life that you want to build for yourself. You're not going to build a life of luxury and a life of being able to help other people if you just have a job that's covering your bills and, okay, maybe you have a good job.
There's a difference in the way something tastes depending on who makes it.
100%.
If you see someone like putting their love into the food they're making, that's going to taste so different.
I feel like when you're making food and you're putting your energy into the food, they'll feel that energy. I think that's a part of our big success is that even though it's just a smoothie shop, you look at it, you're like, wow, that's beautiful.
It's art.
It's art.
Right now, the goal is to have everyone try it.
Before we get started, if you could do me one favor, if you have received any value out of this podcast, please take the time to like and subscribe to the show. My goal is to keep growing this podcast and bring you the most creative and talented humans in the world. And taking the time to like, subscribe, and comment allows me just to do that. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, man.
Nice seeing you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us, brother.
So, So how do you have a good understanding of food?
He's downplaying it. Honestly, you have a great understanding of food. Like when he cooks, you know when some people cook like with their heart, like you don't just cook with measurements, like you kind of have a feeling for what feels good.
Yeah. It's just like intuition.
Yeah.
Intuition, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's people that understand food when it comes to ingredients. Like, someone might get in the kitchen and cook something, and you're like, and they'll follow a recipe or whatever. Like, there are people that also could get into a kitchen and know what goes well with each other. You know, like, even though I know in smoothies it might not seem like the most complicated thing, but there are places that you go and they have smoothies that you drink, and you're like, this does not taste like something I should have paid for. So, even though it's a little bit hard to understand when it comes to business, but we learned food from past experiences, from past businesses, and we put it together in here, and we just created like smoothies that we would love to drink ourselves. And yeah, pretty much like just the understanding of food put with business, and we created Whatapeach.
It's so funny because back to what you said, you'll have a smoothie and it wouldn't like, I shouldn't have paid like that much for it.
Yeah.
And like I had an Erewhon smoothie for the first time like a couple weeks ago. It was like $25 and it was not great. And I was like, how do you guys get that quality and like affirmation of like, oh yeah, I definitely feel like I should have, it's worth what I paid for this smoothie? Because anywhere else in the world, like, or maybe in California, you paying like that, like a smoothie it's a cocktail price for a smoothie. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. Are you a lover of making cocktails or work as a career or part-time bartender? If so, mix like a pro with A Bar Above. A Bar Above has the best mixing tools on the market, from shakers and strainers to mallets and ice picks. A Bar Above has you covered with all your cocktail needs. Use code BILTZ, BILTZ, for 10% off any order.
You would think people should pay more for a smoothie than a cocktail, you know, because like cocktail is alcohol and bitters and, you know, obviously a craft to it, but we put so many good ingredients in our smoothies. Like sometimes people will watch us make the smoothies and there's so much that goes in there. There's some places, you know, they'll put some powders or some syrups and this and that, but each smoothie that we have has so many different steps and ingredients, which makes the difference, I feel like.
No, it looks wild. Like the way you guys get all your ingredients like fresh, right? You don't have any frozen berries or anything like that?
There are some that you have to have frozen.
Okay.
It's not, there's a lot of perishable things. We have most of our stuff fresh, but there are things that you have to get frozen, you know, some unique fruits.
I think I was also going to say, we kind of constructed the smoothie from the end. Like, I don't know, when we were thinking about what recipes to make for these smoothies, we were kind of thinking like, if we were the customer, what's a smoothie I'm going to drink that's going to make me feel like, wow, I paid $12 for the smoothie, $13 for the smoothie, but like this really made me feel good. This green machine made me feel like I don't need to eat until dinner and I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel energized. Like really broke it down from the end feeling of like what's going to leave a customer happy.
And then backtrack it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put the type of ingredients in there like avocados that are going to give you healthy fats that are going to keep you feeling good, keep you feeling full, but not bloated, you know? So things like that.
What do you call it? What was Whatapeach just an idea for a long time? Like, how did it start? Because you guys are just like business guys. You guys like starting businesses and turning like things that weren't real into real life tangible businesses. It's kind of cool. It's cool to see you guys do it real life. Like the Whatapeach, when it first started, was like 4 years ago now?
2.5.
Almost 3? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you had any problems sleeping or snoring? If so, hostage tape could be your answer. Mouth taping and only nasal breathing has shown to prevent snoring and offset sleep apnea. It brings more oxygen to the brain, gives more aesthetically pleasing craniofacial features, and improves your overall cardiovascular health. Give it a try at www.hostagetape.com and use code NATE49486 for 10% off.
We started off in business a long time ago. You know, we've been businessmen for a while now. We started off by failing a lot. And
what was the first business?
I mean, so it's a little tough to talk about on camera, but I mean, I guess it's in the past. So we were in the weed industry. So off the bat, we started off with cultivating, and you know, we had some marijuana dispensaries back in the day. I started that kind of like with my brother right out of high school. I didn't go to college. I just started doing that, and then that transferred into the CBD industry. So once I noticed that, okay, we're doing pretty good with weed, let's invest into something that could be a...
Did you just want to go into weed because that was something you guys were passionate about? You guys like smoking?
No, we were never passionate about cannabis. Like it was just more we're passionate about food. You know, like it was just the right place. We thought it was the right place to be as far as a financial decision goes, you know?
Because just a booming industry, right?
It was huge, man, yeah. It was a lot of money.
And then how did you guys think about topical?
So topical was just another kind of
Was that the second one?
That was the second investment, yeah.
That was, in terms of the cannabis industry, that was probably the fourth.
Second successful one.
Second successful, right.
As far as like, we had other like ideas that we launched and then they didn't take off, you know, like in the same industry. There was like some crazy, you know, investments that we made that just didn't do what we wanted it to do. So we kind of stopped doing it, you know.
Before we continue, this episode is brought to you by Brute Fitness Seltzers. Get your full serving of BCAAs with the caffeine boost for your workouts or simple daily routines. Use code BILTS20 for 20% off your next order. How long do you guys give an idea until you're like, I have to move on to the next one?
That's something I feel like we struggled with in the past. So my brother is the idea guy. He comes up with ideas daily, multiple ideas.
Unfortunately,
I have to be in charge.
He's a mastermind.
He is a mastermind, and it's a great trait to have. And usually, I have to be the one that kind of grounds him and lets him know, like, hey, let's be patient with this one. Let's give it a little bit more time, and let's see how it unfolds before we get into the next idea.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I would say you should give your business a minimum of a year to see how it's not going to do well in the first year. You just have to know it's not going. You're not going to.
Why do you say that?
Money. In any business, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and you just have to kind of be prepared to not be earning the type of money you think you're going to be earning in the first year.
Yeah, and even if you are doing good, like your company is making a lot of money, I feel like in the first year you don't even feel it because of all the smoke and all the fire. You know, like you don't feel that success in the first year. So a lot of people are like, you know what, we gotta go. So my brother said, I was gonna say, like, my mind is. And he's kind of like the rock that holds me down. That's why we're such a good team, because you need that, especially as a businessman, because we all get so like anxious and we want to move on because we're like, okay, this is going to fail. Just because of like one little hiccup, your body, you know, I don't know, naturally wants to go against your heart, you know? So you're like, your mind's telling you like, you got to get out. You got to get out.
Because your mind from you, like you want to try everything, right? I'm assuming, because you're the idea guy. You're just like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And Greg's over here saying like, let's tone it down and focus on one thing at a time.
Right. Well, one thing at a time, and there's different levels to it. Like the first year is, like I said, beginning stages. And then you get to 3 years in, that's when a lot of people fall off. They're like, okay, it's not making the type of money I want. But from that 3 year to 6 year to 10 year, it's definitely levels, and you kind of grow, and it grows exponentially. It's not like it's growing at a normal scale.
Like an exponential rate?
It blows up. It kind of doubles after that, and then 4 times, 8 times. So you really have to be patient with business.
What made you guys want to go into like the business route of just like doing your own thing versus, I don't know, corporate America, working for someone, or becoming like a doctor, lawyer, anything like that, because business is tough. Like it's just like based on your own work ethic and like your own skills and knowledge and anything like that and everything like that.
I think it was being told what to do. I feel like I personally had a problem with that my whole life. Just someone being able to tell me how.
Did you guys grow up in the States?
We grew up in Armenia, so
Okay.
we were born and raised in Armenia. We're Armenians. We came here when I was 10. I think you were 11.
12.
Were you guys
12, yeah.
coming to Los Angeles?
Yeah,
Yes.
we came
Okay.
from LA. And again, we came from a life that was not pretty. You know, Armenia is a third world country. Well, it was back in the day. Now it's doing amazing.
Can you describe it?
Let me tell you like this. We had Coca-Cola once a year on special occasions.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like a country of opportunity. When we came here and the first time we walked into a Ralph's and my mom was like, get whatever you want, we thought she was joking. You know, like we were like, what do you mean get whatever you want? We came from a place where it was like you had the wants, you know, you have the needs and the wants. You had the wants very, very few times out of the year. You got one gift out of the year. If it's your birthday, maybe on New Year's. You know, you didn't have the Coke anytime you wanted to. You could walk to
What
the
was the
fridge
feeling like when your mom said get anything from Ralph's?
I remember that day like yesterday, dude. I I think I grabbed every kind of bubble gum there was on the shelf. I don't know what you grabbed, but
When we were, and I know the story about like was it your mom that had to go through like basically crawling through this river of dead bodies to get through, like just to come to the States. It wasn't like a war zone in that sense, but it was basically Armenia at the time when we were growing up in Armenia. It was right when the Soviet Union had collapsed, and it was kind of like there's no money circulating in the economy, so nobody really had money. Everyone was basically living on the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like coming from that to like not seeing anything really in stores. Coming to the U.S. kind of seemed like going to Disneyland for the first time.
How did you guys get out? I guess like because obviously there has to be some planning, like saving or anything like that to get a whole family from Armenia to the States at the time. No.
there was my mom actually got a visa, and that was 5 years prior to us. So she came and then she started doing her paperwork to stay here. And then 5 years later, she was able to bring us over here. So we stayed with our grandparents in Armenia for 5 years until my mom got to bring us over here.
And then when you came here, was it just like you were happy to be here right away?
I mean, we jumped
Because
right in.
10
we were still kids. When
10,
we
12
kids.
years old is like...
We were happy to see our mom.
Okay.
Yeah, because we didn't have a dad. Our dad had passed away a long time
I'm
ago,
sorry about
but
that.
no worries. Yeah, but we were just happy to see our mom because we missed her a lot.
Yeah, because it was just you boys by yourselves with your grandparents.
Yeah, and our sister. We have an
And
older
your
sister
sister.
as well. Yeah.
So
yeah.
what did you guys do when you got to the States? Obviously, you didn't want to just be like, oh, we're going to start businesses at 10 and 12, right?
No, yeah. We had.
I swear I would if we could, but like, right when we were able to work at 14 and a half, getting any type of like paperwork to give us like work permission, and we just started working and saving as much as possible.
Actually, it's funny. As soon as we got to America, I went to John Muir Elementary, and at John Muir they sold Muir bucks. It was not sold. When you were a good kid, they gave you Muir bucks, like $50 of Muir bucks. And at the end of the week, you would get to go and buy stuff from the school. So me being the businessman that I was, crooked businessman, I was just
At 10
a
years
stupid
old?
kid. I told my mom that it was a school project for her to print those, and I would sell the Muir bucks for like 50 cents at the time.
At 10, 12 years old?
Yeah, at 10, 12 years old, I was
That's
selling.
crazy.
Yeah, and I would get actual money from it, but yeah, that was just a stupid thing to do. As
Well,
a kid.
that's a smart thing to do, right? Because like there's that's the biggest thing. A lot of people, I feel like the selling aspect is such a big thing that a lot of people don't know how to do. Like from just a personal thing, like you sell yourself every single day. You're talking to people every single day. Like you have to be likable and then sell yourself to eventually like grow your business. Because at the end of the day, everyone works with people they know, like, and trust, right?
Of course, yeah.
Because like right now, you guys with Whatapeach, you've collabed with so many cool people. And how are you guys connecting with everybody?
Can I tell you guys like what I think really is the secret?
Yeah.
We don't try to sell any of this stuff. We're really at the core of it, and I feel like with sales, that's the biggest secret. Just you shouldn't be trying to sell. You should really be genuine and really trying to connect with people. So when people come by, like Kristen Bell came by with her kids, like they still come by and get acai bowls. We're really just being ourselves. We're being really genuine, helping her like we would with any other customer, making sure everything's taken care of, and you just really build a connection with customers.
Yeah. It's just like at the end of the day, if you're trying to make the world a better place through a product or service, right?
Of course.
People feel that.
Right.
You know, they know if you're trying to be salesy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's the balances. You have to actually make a profit, right? You can't just be like giving free stuff away and giving enjoyment. And you know, like as a server and a bartender, a few years ago, like we'd always like comp a drink here and there, build that relationship. And in business, that's kind of like cool yes and no type of vibe, because you need to make a profit at the end of the day.
I feel like you shouldn't worry about the profit as much. Really focus on. There's a book called 1,000 True Fans.
Oh yeah,
really
Kevin Kelly.
Right.
Yeah.
And just building those 1,000 true fans, you're gonna have more than enough if you're really not worried about the money coming, the profit. Just worry about making sure you have 1,000 true fans.
Yeah. Worry about the company rather than like what you're gonna make at the end of the month. You know?
There's so many people that want to start a business and they just don't know where to start. And like right off the get go, you have so many ideas and stuff like that. Like where does someone start if they just want to start working for themselves?
You know what the thing is, like if you have an idea, and by the way, I want to throw this in there. A new thing that me and my brother are starting to do is we're gonna start coaching people on how to do it and
how to do business.
How to get into the restaurant industry, because we've mastered the industry pretty well. We were in a different type of a restaurant prior to the Whatapeach, to his banquet halls and things of that sort. So we understand dining in general and just restaurants in general. So
what do you mean mastering? What are the characteristics of mastering like that type of business?
Man, it's okay. First and foremost, we've made probably every mistake that you could possibly make in every business that we've done. You know, so we've learned the hard stuff from making the mistakes. You know, so mastering it in a sense where creating an actual business from food in general is not that it's not that easy. You know, people see it and they're like, oh, there's so many restaurants, but
well, there's a lot of overhead, right?
There is, but see, that's the thing. You have to master the business part of it too. Like when people think about when I tell like some of our advisors what our profit margins are, they're like, "Wow, that's insane. How are you doing that?" You know, it takes a little bit more work. You know, like it takes a little bit more planning and sourcing and things of that sort. But mastering the business in the sense where like there's some things where you just don't know where to start. Like for example, finding locations and or negotiating leases. You know, like there's a location that we're getting into in Glendale that one of our locations
for Whatapeach.
For Whatapeach, yeah,
okay.
yeah. We're getting
Whatapeach is like the main baby right now.
Yeah, that's our baby.
Yeah, okay, heck yeah.
We love that one, yeah, and
it's great marketing. It's very friendly. It's like warm, and it's also kind of I don't know, with the butt on the back of the cup. Yeah. It's very cute. It's like PG-13.
He's the master of marketing. Like he's the master of design. He understands design that I don't understand at all. You know, and like, he does things, and I'll come and I'll give my 2 cents, and he's like, "Yeah, leave."
You design everything yourself?
Everything, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he does an amazing job.
So you guys had to learn like Photoshop and like I don't know, all the softwares and stuff like that as well?
So I went to school for architecture. I got my degree for architecture. I studied and worked as an architect for a while, or designer. I wasn't technically a licensed architect, but I was designing buildings, getting things built. So I had to learn all the programs there, and I feel like that's...
What's the main one they use again?
AutoCAD.
Yeah, AutoCAD.
Revit, all of those.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know, me coming from the design part and my brother coming from the ideas and business part, we create such a great dynamic, such a great team for getting ideas out and building these businesses. Like he'll come up with that, like negotiating leases and like making sure the place is good. That's completely his thing. Making sure that the space is habitable and these people are going to come in and feel welcomed and feel like, oh my God, I love this restaurant. That's on me. That's what I do.
I feel like you guys know each other's strengths so well.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've
been working together for how long? Over 10 years?
Over 10 years, we're together every day.
How do brothers work together for that long, not like bite each other's necks off?
I don't know, man. I think it's just a matter of, we know that there's no way in hell that we'll ever go against each other. You know, like there's no chance that, there's no negative thought in my mind about him. You know, like there never has been. You know, like, so it's not like if he makes a little bit more money than I do, or like, and I'm looking at him like, oh, why didn't he? I'm doing it for him. You know what I'm saying? So
it's same. I feel like that's what you need.
Yeah.
Like I want you to have more success. You know what I mean? Like
same with me to him. So it
That's
works.
beautiful.
We're instead of like, you know, like I'm pushing him up, he's pushing me up. We're pushing each other up ultimately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we do everything together. So and it works. You know, we've been successful at it. So
I love that, dude.
And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things, like you were saying, the things that we've learned from past business, like with partnerships and stuff.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I feel like we'd be able to give value to people.
Yeah.
Just teaching them how to look for partners and what's going to be a partnership that really helps them and doesn't.
yeah.
What are qualities of a good partner?
I mean, man, like we've lost the most money in the past because of partners, like
Other partners besides
other
your guys'
partners.
self.
Yeah. So rather than just bad business ideas or bad business ventures, the partners that we chose to be associated with lost us the most money. And just some characters is like okay, so for example, you're a 30% partner, right? 33, 33, 33. You're split 3 partners in one business. The idea is, okay, we're all going to put 33% of the work in, and it's going to equate to 100.
Makes sense.
But, you know, the whole thing is like you all have to put 100% in. I don't, you know, like you all have to put in so much work where it's like you're the only partner, and that's the only way it's going to work. We've noticed that whenever it's one partner is not putting in as much work, the other partner always starts to getting negative emotions towards that partner. So you have to choose partners that you know they're going to push forever and they're going to push really hard, or a partner that you don't mind picking up the slack for, you know? And just generally people that are good, man. Like me and my brother, towards everyone, towards the whole world, we don't have any negative kind of like, what's the word? Like intentions. Anything that we do, any business that we do, we have love in our heart, and we're doing it out of the love for the people that we're doing it for. Even with our business partners, I've lost close to $500,000 from a person that just took it from our hands, and like I pray for him and I say I hope he has all the health in the world. You know, like
Where do you guys get that mindset from?
I don't know, like gratitude. Like I'm a very strong believer in God. I pray a lot, and like comes from the gratitude of just being alive and just knowing that this life is a bonus, and everything else that we're doing like is just a bonus. So just because it's money that you're losing, it's not. It's
You
really
always can make
nothing.
more money.
It's nothing.
Yeah, I learned this. I saw this quote the other day, and it was like, you could always make more money, but you only get one like character, like your reputation, right?
Yep.
So like if you accidentally say something wrong, or you cuss someone out, or X, Y, and Z, like it takes a lot to rebuild that reputation. Like it could take years, many years, months, whatever it is. You always can make more money. So at the end of the day, just like be a good person.
Yeah. Be a good person.
Where do you get your ideas from? It sounds like, from according to Greg, that you just have these crazy ideas that you pop off every day.
So this is my secret, man. I'm naturally just very calm in the heart. You know, like even though my mind is always working, my body is at rest a lot of the times, and that comes from being a very anxious person in my youth. From like 18 to around like 23, I put myself in so many bad situations, and I've associated myself with so many bad people that my body was always in fight or flight. So I was always kind of like, my body was always active, and I was always like on the go. I was always anxious, and I was in a very bad place, and I was in a very dark place. So my mind was always closed. My mind was always like kind of like dim. And then as soon as I started like meditating and learning how to get out of my mind and be this like outside person out of my body, rather than just me as matter, but more as energy. Every time I'm able to control my mind and come to a place where I'm happy with myself and I'm giving out good energy rather than just darkness, good ideas come to me. You know, good things come to me, and then sometimes they bounce off. Sometimes they bounce off, and some of them just stick, and they just keep running, replaying, until I tell my brother, "Hey, I can't. This is a good idea. What do you think?" Yeah, I like it. And then it's like we start.
You guys just run with it?
Yeah.
What's the creative process like in terms of how you work together? Do you guys have like a whiteboard you write down your ton of ideas for? Like say right now, like Whatapeach, like obviously you guys said you have a ton of meetings, you guys collab on it. Like how does that work?
We definitely have meetings with ourselves. Like we sit down, we have professional like corporate meetings basically with ourselves. We go through and we talk about like colors and design and what everything should be like, what everything should feel like, packaging designs and everything. And then we order samples, we get everything, and we really go through the whole process like we're a huge company for some of these companies until it gets to that point, you know, until it's bigger. But it's a really like we kind of mimic big companies.
I remember Topical, like we were at a point the company was making close to $3 million a year.
Topical?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This was like the CBD company right after. And I remember like a lot of people thought that in the beginning that it was a huge company because he had, you know, the design of it.
The marketing was insane, dude. I was checking out it right before this. The matte black, the bottles. Do you shoot everything yourself?
Yeah.
Where do you shoot? Do you rent the studio out? You just do it at home?
I just at home.
That's crazy.
Like, natural sunlight. I have a really good camera, and I just like study it like a maniac. I just study photography and marketing and branding and videos. That's
YouTube University or what?
Yeah. Instagram, TikTok University is big.
TikTok too.
Yeah.
I'm not on TikTok a lot. You can learn a lot from TikTok.
A lot.
Oh
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it? Isn't it so funny that you can learn so quickly now? The internet's just right there. You Google anything,
it's a lot of
and
information.
there you go.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Before we continue, this episode is brought to you by In Spirit Bitters. Be your own bartender at home and make yourself an old-fashioned, Manhattan, hot toddy, spicy margarita, and much more with your In Spirit Bitters. They have various flavor profiles ranging from holiday spiced to pineapple habanero. Just go to www.inspiritbitters.com and use code NBP for Nate Biltz Podcast for 15% off your next order. What's the thing you're most proud of business wise?
That's tough.
Can I tell you something I'm proud of not business wise?
Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday, actually, I was telling my brother, I'm like, this is the proudest moment of this whole, like, 10 years of my life. We were at the gym. We go to the gym often.
Where do you guys work out now? Where do you guys work out?
We're at the LA Fitness in Sherman Oaks.
Okay. You guys put on some muscle since when I first met you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, I was about to say, you guys got some guns now.
Thank you, man.
Brother.
You guys work out together?
Yes.
Always,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Health is honestly, health is a big factor in business too, man. I feel like anytime we're at our good place in our bodies, our business is doing good too. I feel like it's the energy.
Heck yeah.
So I was waiting for a bench, and then some guy walked up to my bench, and like I was walking towards it. I was like, I was waiting. He's like, you know, you weren't. I was here first. I was like, no, dude. I'm like, I was here, and he started like kind of being confrontational, and me being the person that I used to be, I would get riled up and I would get crazy, and my, you know, blood would boil, and I would get into like the biggest, you know, argument and fight. But I controlled myself so well, and I didn't let it like take me down to that low vibrating state, you know. And I just stood there, and I explained to this guy like, I understand you didn't see me, you know, like I don't want to. I know you're confrontational, you know, and my brother was there too. He was kind of getting more heated than I was, and then
you're there. You're like,
yeah.
I'm usually the calm
He's
one.
just
I'm proud of you too.
Yeah.
You kept your cool.
I kept my cool, and then like he left me my bench. I was like, this is my bench. Like forget about it. Just leave. Like this is not, you know, this is my bench. Anyways, he left. He was trying to fight with me though. So, anyways, my brother was like, wow, man, that was so. And in my mind, I was like, this is the proudest I've been of myself for so long, just because I was able to. You know, I was up here, my blood was boiling, and that's the type of person I used to be, but I brought it down, you know, instantly, and I was able to control my emotion to the point of like just completely changing the outcome of what could have happened at that situation, you know. And I feel like that was the proudest moment that I have had in this last 5 years of my life.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That this small moment made you feel that way. I mean, it's a big moment too, because like past selves, like, you know, the worst version of you.
Yep.
Right. And that worst version of you is like not great to who you believe you are right now, at least for most people, you know. And to see yourself grow in that light, it's amazing.
Yeah.
How did you get there? Like it takes a lot of self-work to do that.
Honestly, my brother, man, he's always been the person that like always tells me like, dude, you gotta chill. Don't take everything so.
You're like, chill, bro, chill.
Yeah, like, don't take everything so heavy. You know, your mind and your energy is that's all you have. You have to kind of keep that in. You can't let your emotions control you. You control your mind, and your mind doesn't control you. And like after years of practice, like you just become that person. And once you shift that personality trait, you're like, I'm not that person, I'm this person, then you kind of want to live that life, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's so beneficial in business too, kind of like being in control of your emotions, detaching your emotions from business first of all, and things go wrong always.
Yeah.
There's not been I don't know, I would say there hasn't been a week in a row where something hasn't gone wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But you have
There's
to
always
really,
problems coming
there's
up.
always
Yeah.
problems. I think that's the biggest thing to know, like when you're starting a business, like things are gonna go wrong. So be able to control your emotions, know that everything is a solvable problem, and just deal with it like that. Deal with it like a math problem. Everything has a solution.
There's the like entrepreneurs out there who've been like glorified for bad behavior though, like the Steve Jobs of the world who like go off, and I don't know if you've seen the movies or read in his books or anything like that. Like he was not a nice guy to his employees or just like business people in general, you know. But I mean, I just feel like it's better to be nice though, you know.
Be nice, but don't. I mean, look, be kind, but don't be the nice guy where people could
Like
take
don't push
advantage.
over, no push over.
Like,
I think Steve Jobs was more direct.
He's
It
direct,
wasn't that he wasn't nice. I think he was very like he needed this done.
Yeah.
you should never be the kind of person that someone can take advantage of you. Nothing gets past me ever. Him neither. You know, like, but I decide where like the kind of like how it's gonna go. You know, like so. I'm a very nice person. I have your intention at heart, like good intention towards you. But if I ever notice that, like, okay, you don't have the same intentions towards me, then it's going to be a whole different kind of energy between us. So don't be the nice guy where people could take advantage of you, especially in business. But also, you know, don't be a bad guy. Don't be a mean guy.
Be the good guy. Don't be the nice guy.
Yeah.
I guess that's the same, right?
Yeah, like, you know, nice is like, you know, oh, he's such a nice guy. You know, like. Yeah,
You get taken advantage of when you're the nice guy. You have to be a good person, but you don't have to be a nice person all the time.
Yeah.
How do you guys back to the leases and stuff? How do you negotiate for like a good deal on your end?
My main thing is first and foremost, I'm doing them a favor. That's like initially, like when I
come off saying that
mentally. Well,
Yeah.
no, you wouldn't say that. To
you
them.
wouldn't say that. I'm doing you a favor.
You would never say. They'll hate you. But when you think about it, you're signing a 10-year lease with these people, right? So, which is another thing that you should probably like consider. And this is something that we're going to be training too. So, I don't know if you could put my phone number like on the video, so people,
I'll put a contact.
Yeah, I want people to be, you know, I want people like, and I'm doing it for free, by the way. Like, because I honestly want to help people because of how much success we had. I want to have 3 people this year that I help for free to start their own business. So if they want to call me or shoot me a text, they can, and I'll help them kind of do what we did to become successful. By the way, I was gonna say the most proud I think we've been in business was the first year of Whatapeach where we passed the 500,000, which is pretty dope.
That's crazy, first year.
First
Because
year.
I saw it like slowly build, and then all of a sudden it picked up quick. Like after 2 months, dude.
Yeah.
It was just like line after line, and then I saw your guys' price raise a little bit. I was like, they're killing it.
Those are like they're little things that you do to become successful, and then you know, you learn as you go. So thankfully we were able to learn. But leases are very, very important. So what I was gonna say, like, what I mean by you're doing them a favor, ultimately you're gonna be paying these guys' mortgage for the next 10 to 20 years, right? So they need you a lot more than you need them. So the landlord has this one unit that he wants you to rent, but you have the whole city to find, you know, a unit. So there was a lease that we negotiated. We practically got in there for free. We practically got the landlord to build the place out for us. So all we have to do is buy the material and we're in it. So the business is going to start off with like a $50,000 investment, which is insane. We'll make
Which is not that high.
Oh no, that's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, generally you're looking at like 150.
Did you guys take out loans to start businesses or no?
No, thankfully we had saved up a lot of money.
Okay.
So yeah, we've only used our own money, and these next locations that are coming up is the money that we saved up from the.
How do you feel about taking loans out versus just saving up and starting building on your own?
I don't like loans. I don't know. I personally don't like loans.
I think
I know he
you have
likes
to be
loans.
very careful about it. You know, like there are proper times to use it, but most
Exactly.
people aren't in those proper times. So most people shouldn't be taking out loans. Like you could start the idea with a very low budget to see if it works out. Let it be a cart. Let it be something small to see if your idea works. don't just take out a loan and say I'm going to build out a restaurant on this loan, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong that might not work out for you to pay that loan back.
This country's built on loans, man. Like I know, you could make a lot of money with loans, but you have to know where to use the loans. Like I would never take out a loan to open up a restaurant because the failure rate is so high.
So high.
Know? Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy that you guys started Whatapeach on a time where I think, what was it, the year before, almost 60-70% of LA restaurants closed down because of COVID. Like,
well, we closed 5 of our topical CBD stores. We had 5 stores that were bringing us a lot of money, and because of COVID, we closed it all down. And then we ended up selling a portion of the company, and then we were like, "What are we gonna do?"
Was that because of COVID?
All because of COVID.
All because of COVID.
Yeah, it was a lot of money went to
what inspired you guys to start back up doing something else, or because that's a huge, I guess, fail. You know.
Well, it wasn't a fail. We sold it for a good amount.
Sure.
We sold it for a good amount. We still got all of our money back, and we made a lot of money during the 5 years that it was in business, and a lot of money. Like it was more money than we had ever, hoped to make with it. So
that's awesome.
We were able to buy a lot of things. We were able to live a good life at that time.
Yeah.
So we didn't consider it a fail. And even if we didn't make that kind of money, we learned so much, dude. I mean, like literally that company dragged our face on the ground. if you want a representation of how hard that company was.
I saw that an article that you guys had problems legally because it was CBD.
Yeah.
But like it needed to be considered THC.
Yeah.
Like even if it was only CBD.
Dude.
Right.
Some insane. Yeah. You were not a cannabis company, but you had to pretty much follow
everything cannabis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like why is that?
Just the government trying to kind of like hold. They don't want you to make a mistake. Like they don't want people to get hurt, so they kind of want to take it slow. So
that's what it was.
Yeah, I think the cannabis industry was such a. It was like the Wild West. Like the people that were in the cannabis industry, it was not the best people. It was just people who wanted to make a quick dollar. So to the government, CBD wasn't anything different. It was just the same kind of offspring of cannabis, of marijuana. So they wanted to take it slow. And
why did you guys decide to take an exit?
Well, first and foremost, we had 5 stores, which we had insane overhead on. And then when COVID happened, obviously the sales dropped dramatically, and we pivoted to completely online.
Yeah.
And then we noticed that.
So there's no in-person stores anymore. It's all online.
Yeah, no more. Yeah, no more stores.
Yeah.
No more stores, and we're not involved much anymore. So we just helped them out a little bit. But
you came up with the recipes for the oils like just by yourself too.
Yeah, we did that alone.
How did you start that?
YouTube, Google.
You're just like, how do you extract the CBD from flower? And
it took me about 2 months to learn the whole process, and I mastered it. And then I would have other companies.
Do you just get obsessed over it and just like figure it out until it gets done?
Yeah, until it's perfect.
Like you lock
until he says it's perfect, literally.
Until you say it's perfect.
That's it. Because
you check it off.
For me, like I might stop halfway and be like, it's good enough, and it would be good enough, but he'll be like, no, go back. It has
to be better.
It has to be better. Yeah.
Do you guys have any distractions? Because like I feel like that to get that done in 2 months is like pretty hard to do.
I mean, at the time I didn't have any kids. I wasn't married, so it was just work.
Work.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man.
So what's the game plan for Whatapeach? Like, what's the goal with it?
Right now, the goal is to have everyone try it. Right now, we're expanding. We're opening up a location in Glendale. We have another one opening up in Granada Hills. We're really, people love the product, so we're just trying to get it into as many places right now in LA as possible, and really building out a good franchise plan, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the route we want to take. Not like a traditional McDonald's franchise, more of like a friends and family and people we really admire.
Really trust?
Yeah. And people who are going to really put love into it,
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of... It's not that anyone could run it. You really have to love the business to get into it.
You have to be passionate. You have to be in it more for just the money. You have to really understand food too.
You said that it was easy to hire people.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way. Because I've seen so many bad hospitality workers ever since after COVID. Like, just you'd go into a restaurant and the service that I've had like after COVID has been a lot worse than beforehand. And you're like, oh, it's super easy to hire people. How so?
You know what? I completely agree with you, bro. I just realized when you said that there was a big shift after COVID. The employees at a lot of restaurants now are a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot ruder.
A lot ruder.
And it's kind of norm.
Yeah.
Like it's the new norm.
Unless it's like a super high-end place,
Yeah.
and then what's normal was supposed to be normal is seen as like, oh, that was super good.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
reality, it's just like, it's
got
good service.
Yeah. I guess it was an understatement. Like, I don't think it was, I don't think it's insanely easy, but I guess we've just been really lucky. We have kind of like filtered out a lot of people, but we've been lucky with the team that we have now. It's
They
an
are
amazing
great,
team.
but it also has to do with the system you build.
True.
Honestly,
Yeah.
so one of the most important books I read before we started Whatapeach, it's called the E-Myth.
E-Myth.
Yes, Michael Gerber, I believe. So
What was that about?
it's basically talking about how if you want to get into any type of business, doesn't matter what industry, you have to think of it as kind of like a machine. Like the business is something of itself. So you have to
Outside of
create-
yourself.
Exactly. And you
Okay.
have to create a system so that this business can operate without you, and doesn't matter which employee you plug into your system, the system's going to operate the same way. So if you have proper systems, you have proper ways of telling your employee has to be this certain way when this happens, do this when this happens, your system operates in a proper way. You don't have to rely on perfect employees. You're never going to find perfect employees. You find good people, and your system molds them into becoming Whatapeach employees.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what makes Whatapeach's system so much better than anyone else?
So I think what makes our system better is that we took a lot of time to design it in an art form. You know, like when you get our food, you're not just getting something that was thrown together. You know, and I think that's a part of our big success is that even though it's just a smoothie shop, like our avocado toast, you look at it, you're like, wow, that's beautiful.
It's art.
It's art. You
Same
know, like
with the Nutella peanut butter strawberries. I was like, that's so simple,
beautiful,
but
yeah.
it's so pretty.
Yeah. And food is like, dude, I know you agree too. I know you're in an amazing circle of friends. By the way, I love all of your friends.
Thank you.
I always just watch you guys on Instagram, and you guys are such a happy group. But I know you guys watch what you eat too, you know? So
Yeah.
I feel like when you eat beautiful food, your insides are beautiful. Because if you're putting good things into your system, I know the strawberry toast is like Nutella and peanut butter, but like all the other stuff, you know, like avocados, good fats,
Sure.
really good bread.
The
You know,
lox are great too.
yeah. So like if you're eating good food that looks beautiful, it's chances are that it's good for you. You know, like you're not eating fried chicken and fried, I don't know, potatoes and stuff.
Some people that might look beautiful though.
That's true. I guess that's true. I mean, I guess there's a different, you
It's
know.
like subjective. When
Yeah.
did you guys start caring about like I guess your health and fitness a lot more?
I don't know. I mean,
I think it was the 75 hard challenge for us.
oh yeah.
When did you guys do that?
In September of
yeah.
last year.
Did you guys make it all 75?
All of
days?
it. All of it.
You
dude.
read, you read, you did the books, you drank your water, did 2
Yep,
workouts
yep.
a day.
Yep.
I still have my water in the car. I kept that going until today.
It's super important.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize how much water they need.
My
That's the
guy.
most important part of the challenge, and it's also the hardest part of the challenge, in my opinion.
Really?
I
A
would
lot
say
of people, a lot of people didn't like the workout outside and the reading part.
I feel like the hardest part for me was the reading part, but everything else was
So
pretty
you
easy.
read the Bible.
I did read the
So
Bible.
you made it tougher on
I
yourself.
did. I read the Bible, and I was also reading Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. I was reading both of those. So that was
Gerr
nice.
Avetisyan is who again?
He's a doctor that studies the brain and like the spiritual world and like how you could help your body heal itself from disease if you have.
Is he the guy who did the Spartan races?
He's the guy that was in a crazy accident, I believe, and then he kind of reconstructed his spine and his bones with just basically being very in tune with his body, very
yeah.
minimal like surgical procedures and stuff.
Yeah, he just talks a lot about like energy and how meditation and a lot of these things could really shape your life.
What's
you know?
your definition or understanding of energy?
Man, like energy is like, okay, first and foremost, we all have this inner light, right? So like your soul, your person, whoever you are, your source, you know, like some people say it's your soul or whatever. I think it's like your inner light, and pretty much like me smiling at you, I'm giving you energy. I'm giving you like good vibrations, and I'm giving you like a piece of myself, you know? Or if me and you were sitting across and I'm looking at you and I'm like, oh, the color of your shirt is so ugly, you know? Like in my mind, I'm thinking about it.
Sure.
And there are people like that, you know? They're just giving you negative energy because their light inside of them, their energy
It's dull.
it's dull. And like I feel like in a world of like just people constantly being after money, after fame, after this, that, what's gonna come next, they forget that like the next person or the person in front of them also wants good energy, love, and everything, and they don't realize that that's dimming their own light. Like instead of like being happy and grateful for everything that they have, they're just trying to find the next thing to have, and like they're just dimming their own light. For me, it's just energy is like talking to yourself positively. Like I remember a very long period of my life where I was my worst enemy, dude. Like I hated myself for whatever reason, like I was a kid, but I was a little chunky, like I wasn't fit, and like I was losing my hair, like now I don't care. I'm like, who cares, bro? If
Beard and bald head is a good look.
It's
man.
a good look, like I was lucky enough to like, I was lucky enough to have a nice beard. I wish it was growing on both sides of the face, but like back in the day, if this happened to me, I would have for 3 months I would have been like down and out, like
Yeah.
But then I just realized like all you're doing is creating a life that you're not gonna enjoy, like. But if you're just giving out good energy and you're just happy, like, oh, I'm grateful for my shiny forehead. Thank you, God, for giving me this shiny forehead. I have a, it's bald. Why? Because I'm so smart. All my brains are telling my, it's just like those things.
And you would talk to yourself like this.
Always, man. Like I'm always talking to myself. I'm always talking to myself. That could be another reason why I always have ideas. It's just like I'm constantly having a conversation with myself. Now it's up to you if you want to have a conversation with your worst enemy or your best friend. You know what I'm saying? So I became my best friend. I became proud of who I am. I became proud of like the father that I am, the husband that I am. When I was younger, I would look at myself and just be anxious because I wasn't happy with where I was. People were driving G-Wagons and Ferraris, and I was not driving a nice car, and I was like, why not? Like I was just always like kind of downplaying myself. But then when you realize that that's dimming your energy, you're not giving out good energy and good light, you start working on yourself and trying to open up your light. And then once you get to the point where you're a good person and you're giving out light, then I feel like great things come to you afterwards.
Do you think that mindset comes from just being an immigrant too? Because when I talked to my mom about it, and even my dad too, it's just like the stories that they went through was way harder than anything that I've ever gone through in my life, And I'm just like, we have the opportunity to make anything out of the life that we have here. All you have to do is like, it's basically the knowledge and skills you have that you can just grow whatever you want.
It could be. I don't think mine was. I think mine was just because I was in such a dark place mentally, and I just put myself there. And I think another reason was because we had no direction. Our dad passed away when I was like 7 months old. He was like 2 years old. So I had no one to. And my brother he's my age, so he's also in the same. I can't really go for advice to him. Now we can. We talk to each other, but at that point I was 19, 18, and like I couldn't go to get advice from him because he's probably going through similar things. So like. With no direction, you don't know kind of like where who to talk to, so you're just.
Greg, did he ask for like any advice at some points and you're like, I don't know?
I feel like I kind of there was times definitely I had to step into a role of being
like a father figure, right?
Exactly. And like I think that's one of the reasons I had to dive so deep into like being the guru, being the person that's reading the books. See, I would read the books because I know you're not gonna. There was a time where I was reading books because I was like, I know you're not gonna read this, but I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna
understand it.
I'm gonna transmute it to you so you can get this because you need this help.
Thank you, man. I appreciate.
So, what are you just searching for like things that you are in void of in terms of emotionally or business wise, and you dive into it like reading?
I feel like, with reading depends on where I am in life. So like I'll read, it could be meditation books, it could be relationship books, it could be business books, wherever I feel a lack or I feel like I need to grow. Like right now I'm reading more business books, Mastering the Rockefeller Habits, trying to figure out like what is missing in the puzzle to get us to the next level where I need to get us to.
Nice.
So it's definitely just, I use the books that I read as puzzle pieces for getting to the next level.
I think it's super important because there's this other thing I read. It's like books are basically they could give you the lesson without the scars from those people. Like these people are giving you the lessons, they're writing it down, and now you don't need to go through all these failures and failures and failures and failures. You could just be like, oh, that's the lesson. Let's just integrate it into whatever we're doing. If that's emotionally, if that's in relationships, if that's in business, and then you get the answer. You know, there's so many people who don't read though. You know, like what inspired you to start picking up a book and just getting after it?
I feel like a lot of people don't read because they don't get the same. They have other places where they get the same knowledge from. I know friends that do podcast instead. Like they'll just listen to podcast and they'll get the same kind of feeling that a book would give me. Like when I read a book, I don't know, it just gives me like a really, it gives me a really good like happy feeling. Like I just accomplished something. I don't know. I can't even remember the first, like why I really got into it.
I mean, you've always been into education. Like you've always loved to get educated about things. I mean, the guy knows a lot about a lot. Like if I have a question, I ask him because he knows a lot about a lot of things.
A lot about like random shit.
Is it mostly nonfiction? Like do you read history?
Yeah, like Theodore Roosevelt's biography.
Okay.
For no reason.
Biographies are hard to get through. Like I read Steve Jobs' biography by Walter Isaacson, and then I started the Benjamin Franklin one, and I was just like, I just can't relate, you know, in terms of it's just so far out there. I guess you could appreciate it for the history and everything that's going down, but it's really hard to keep my attention there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you take breaks or do you just go right back into it?
I take breaks and I switch books, but it's so important. Like with any of this stuff, like yeah, you could consume so much of this information, but are you using it? Are you applying it in your everyday life? So like when I'm reading or I'm listening to a podcast, so often like I'll pause it and I'll think about how this relates to my life, and then I'll take notes. Like in my notepad, I'll just write down how this like that literally connected to my life and what.
So you really process everything. It's just not. It's not just like blank noise.
Yeah, I can't listen to anything on like 2x speed. I don't know how people do that. I gotta listen to it slowly and just really let it.
The 2x speed's wild. When people are like, and I'm like, whoa, you got that?
See, that's what I do. I have to have it on 2x speed, or I'll get bored and I'll stop listening.
Yeah. What's your form of entertainment?
I don't really care for entertainment. Like I don't like watching TV.
Yeah.
I don't go out. I like to go to the gym. I like to play food.
You love food and restaurants.
I do love food. Yeah, like me and my wife and my baby, we just find like random. We'll drive 2 hours just to go to some
really
a highly rated restaurant and just go.
Well, what does food do for you?
I don't know. It's like first and foremost, it's mine and hers love language. Like that's kind of like what keeps our relationship so fun. You know, like not the only thing obviously, but I just love.
It's a good date night. Date night was That's the reason why. Dinners are a good date night.
It's always been kind of like our vice. Like we don't do drugs, we don't drink only on occasions, you know, like we don't smoke or do anything. Like we love food, and like food, we love to cook it. We love going out to eat it, you know. So I read, I watch. If I ever do watch TV, it's like usually about cooking shows and stuff like that. So yeah, we like to go on vacations. Obviously, you know, we like to go out of town and go do things like that.
What are you guys most excited for right now in your life?
Right now, I'm excited for Dawgfood. I know we just talked about like 10 different companies, but Dawgfood because
this is the new baby.
It's the new baby, yeah.
That's for the game.
You want to explain it?
Person it's gonna transform us to be. So what Dawgfood is, basically when we were doing the 75 hard challenge, one of the toughest parts was figuring out what to eat. Literally.
Yeah.
And like I don't care for it to be anything special. I just most of the time needed high protein.
Yeah.
Exactly. High protein and some sort of carbs. You know, something quick. And I would go home and I would cook like ground beef or chicken, like something, but it would take so long, and then there's so much to do.
It's a lot.
So Dawgfood kind of came out of that. It was something where like we could scoop, we can microwave or heat on a pan for like 5 minutes, and instead of drinking a protein shake that has all of these crazy ingredients in there, like unnecessary stuff that literally gets us bloated, this was a high protein meal. I could have 50 grams of protein in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing I'm excited about with Buddy.
I'm excited about Dawgfood. I'm honestly very excited about the coaching too, because I want to help people get into the industry too. So I am very excited about Dawgfood, but teaching people how to get into the industry is probably going to be one of, like, I feel like that's more of a passion of mine because I love helping people.
That's the biggest thing. Like, I just quit bartending recently because my personal training business has gone off really well.
Maybe you could give me some advice at the end.
Yeah, we'll talk, bro.
Nice.
And but right now, coming off the coaching thing is helping other people accomplish something that they want to get done. If that is through, for you, growing businesses. For me, helping people live a healthier, fit lifestyle, which is probably the same mission as Dawgfood. You know, like it's kind of selfish in the way it makes you feel. It's like you're helping them, but like you feel so good. Like on Saturday, 3 of my clients ran their first half marathon, and I ran it with them. Very cool. And it was in the rain. It was pouring this weekend, you know, and it was pouring. They had their ponchos on, and we're just trekking it in the mud in the mountains in Burbank. And to see them finish, go through the finish line, and just extreme happiness on their face. And just like a couple months ago, they didn't know how to squat properly. They didn't know how to, they didn't run, I think, 3-4 miles before, and they ran 13 miles. Nice. And just to see them accomplish that for themselves, I was like, wow, that's such a good feeling. That makes my heart warm, you know? And that's the same thing with any type of coaching. That's
such a good thing. Like, you're such a good person that your selfishness is the fact that you feel good for helping. So that's such an amazing thing, man. You know, there's very few people like that, like us. Like, we're the same way too. Like, let that be the most selfish thing that you have. That it's the fact that you feel good for helping someone else. You know,
it's because possessions are like I used to always how we were talking about the cars and the G-Wagons, and you always like, oh, why does that guy have it? Like, I work harder or something like that. I always used to feel that way sometimes too, but once you get like you always want to get things, and once you get them, they don't feel as good as what you thought they would feel.
Yeah.
It like getting things is nice, but having things isn't nice. You know, it's like that initial feeling, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess circling that back around, like the aspect of money. What does money mean to you?
Brother, by the way, those people that had the G-Wagons, it was the funniest thing I remember. It was like a moment of epiphany. Like,
nothing against people who have G-Wagons.
No, I love G-Wagons. I mean, we're even thinking about getting one ourselves. Now that we can, you know, like, but I remember that person who had the G-Wagon, and I, like...
At the time,
he asked me to borrow money, and I gave him $50,000 to borrow. And could you imagine, like, this is a person that I'm thinking, like, well, why does he have more money than I do?
Yeah.
When, in fact... I have more money than he does. I'm just doing smarter things. I'm investing it. I'm buying property. I'm building businesses, and he's just worried about paying his car note at the end of the month. So that's also another thing. Like, when you see these people, and like you're in a sense like, why don't I have it? Oftentimes those people don't really have it. It's just a facade. Like, they're just showing that they have it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. What was the question? I just wanted to say that.
Oh no, for sure. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, have you read the 4 Hour Work Week?
Tim Ferris.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I love his podcast.
I love his podcast, and I use his 4 Hour Body book a lot for clients, and it's a really good. He also wrote the 4 Hour Chef. If you're interested in cooking and stuff like that, he has really good. It's a fat book, 400-page book about just like intro to cooking. It's really cool.
It's food. I'll read it.
It's food. I'll read it. But in the 4 Hour Work Week, he talks about just like your priorities, like what you desire. Like, if you want a Lamborghini and that's what is meaningful to you in your life, like, how can you get that? And that is, he broke it down into just like, oh, that's only $12,000 a month in a lease, if that is what's valuable to you. If it's a business, you break it down into like, okay, the lease for this building is $10,000, $2,000 for the overhead, and you could run it that way. So it's basically like, everybody has different values. So some people, like a G-Wagon is like at the peak of the valley. They want to see that way. And for like other people, it's like, oh, I want to grow this business and this and that, you know? Yeah. But the question was, what does money mean to you guys? Because money is like, for so long, I guess for me, it was something that I needed so much to pay for every meal and the rent and this and that. And it was very, what's the word? Scarce. In that way, a scarce mindset of just like, oh, I need hour by hour. And then now treating it now as, I guess for me, is like a tool to like trying to figure out how to grow the things that I want to grow, you know? So what is it for you guys?
I really agree. It's definitely a tool. circulates. You can't hold on to it. Like when you have it, you can't hold on to it. You have to let it circulate, and you have to let more and more circulate through you. You know, I think that's very important, not to like get too attached to it.
Circulate.
Like put it back into business. Like keep growing. Like let the money flow. Money's supposed to
Cash
flow.
flow.
It's not supposed to be stagnant.
Why do you say that?
Like it shouldn't be sitting in your savings account. If you have money flowing to you, put it out into investments. Put it out into appreciating assets. You know, I don't know. People think that like, okay, I got this amount of money. I'm gonna hold on to it, and I'm basically gonna keep saving because I'm scared of not having it again. And it's understandable, but you're definitely gonna lose all of it. you're gonna spend all of it.
Slowly but surely, you'll sit.
So, you don't think people should save?
I think people should invest. They should have backups. They should know that like they have something in case of emergencies. But I don't think saving is growth mindset. You're not going to be growing if you're just saving.
Also, saving in different ways. Like he's not saying don't save, but don't take the cash and put it in your safe at home. You know, because you could put that same money in a bank that is giving you at least 3%.
For now.
You know, like at least that, you know, so don't take it home and sit on it, you know, like save it. Obviously you want to have savings, but you know, like it's better if you have it in a circulating investment or something that could bring you more money.
What's your guys' most scarring business story?
Damn, there's so many. I remember when we got screwed out of like a really, really big amount of money. My wife was like, let's just go out. Let's forget about it. You know, you deserve to not think about it. It was me, my brother, my wife, and there was another person with us, I think my wife's sister. I remember I had so much anxiety that the walls in the restaurant, I remember this vividly, like the walls in the restaurant felt like they were falling on me. And I grabbed the table and I'm like, I gotta go. And then my wife kind of put her hand on me and she's like, relax, like it's okay. I don't know. I think that was the day where my mind switched, where I was like, that's it. I'm not going to let my mind or business control my mind, because I literally thought I was going to die from anxiety. Like the walls caved in. I'm like, okay, it's getting dark. Maybe this is it. Maybe I'm having a heart attack or something. So, and then it was like, and then it was like, stop. And the scar was because we had made a lot of preparation for something that was supposed to bring us a lot of money. We had made a lot of investments to kind of like secure that investment, secure that money that was coming to us. And the people that we were doing business with, we had a lot of trust in them. And they kind of, instead of, how should I say this? Like we were supposed to make a lot of money. And instead of all of us making a lot of money, one person who tricked us and kind of left with it made all the money.
Like a partner?
Yeah, and then he pretty much told us, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? And it was just like we were left with all the prior investments that we made to pretty much that we needed to make to get that, to secure that big check that was coming in. And, you know, since we didn't do our due diligence and we didn't write up the proper contracts, it was kind of like you can't really do anything about it either. And obviously he disappeared, like no contact. But
how do you guys bounce back from that?
Honestly, it took like a week, man. After that wall caving in, I was like, you know what? That was the part where I was saying, like, I prayed for him and I said, I hope all the health to him.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever, like, never bothered me again. I mean, sometimes he'll pop up in my head and, like, I'll think about it and then, you know, I'll tell my brother and, like, he'll just be like, look, forget about it. Look forward. Don't look in, what's going to happen, you know?
Greg, what about you for the scar?
I agree.
Was that experience?
Very fast. It was the same experience, I would say, in terms of business. And
it was a lot of money.
Because it's when we used to get into partnerships, we used to trust people like it's our brother. You know, we used to trust people like how we would be as a partner in a business. And not everyone thinks the same way. So when you kind of get the rug pulled out from under you, it's not like we really got tricked. It was just kind of like we expected more from people, you know? So I don't know. When it was done, it was kind of like, okay, this is the reality. Let's move forward. Like, this is what we have. This is what we have to work with. Yeah. So let's move forward.
What's the most important thing that someone who's trying to start a business needs to pay attention to? Like, there's a lot of moving parts, right? You have to get like books. You have to profit and loss stuff. You have to figure out the product itself. You have to figure out location if you're gonna have like a on-store location. We have website. You have marketing. You have all these. There's so many aspects of a business. Like, which one is the most important to start with?
I mean, I think it's the fact that is the product itself is something that's going to sell. You know, like that's at the end of the day, it's the most important thing. Is your business going to be a business that you're going to have customers in? You know,
people want the product.
Do people want the
like
product?
what is the what and what is the why? You know,
Yeah.
like what are you selling and why are you selling it?
Off the bat, you know, like is your product something that people want? Because if it is something that people want, then you kind of have to worry about the books and the marketing. Because what are you going to market? If you market something that's not gonna
Not good.
sell, you're wasting your money. So initially, the ultimate biggest deal breaker is if it's a good idea or not. Sometimes you won't know until you try and you fail, but that's where experience comes in. So a lot of times, unfortunately, you have to get burned and fail to learn it.
Yeah, I agree. But again, like you don't have to start off huge, you know? Like you could find out if people like your product on a small scale. First you show it to your friends. They might give you they might be too nice. You show it to their friends, you show it to your family. You know, you kind of like expand that circle and you kind of gather that information and see like, hey, is this something that we could will people like this?
Yep.
Like before we started at Whatapeach, we were doing taste tests with all of our friends with the menu, like just
really?
testing it out and just seeing everyone's reaction. And we changed so much from where we started.
Oh yeah.
We tested a lot of the stuff out.
So you tested all these smoothies out at home, and you were just giving them out and to friends and family, and just like, do you like this? Give me some critiques on it.
Luckily, we have a lot of friends and family in Los Angeles. I'm sure you know it's all Armenians, and most of them are our cousins or our friends. So we would have like batches of people coming to my house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we would just make the menu and we would give it to them, and they would give us advice like, okay, I like this, I don't like this, and then we would get rid of some things and then keep some things. But yeah, we just tested it out with our family, and then I remember the first day that we opened the door, like the first customer ordered a Berry Booster, which was named after one of my friends. His name is Barry. His actual name's not Barry, but that's his trucker name because he's a dispatcher. He's a truck dispatcher. We all have very complicated names, by the way, so that's why sometimes we have to kind of Americanize it, you know. So I remember the customer came, ordered it, and me and my brother kind of looked at each other like, what do we do now?
We gotta make this now. We gotta make this order.
We had never made a smoothie.
What do you mean?
Like when the customer came and they ordered, the first customer, he ordered a Berry Booster. We looked at each other and we were like, oh.
It's like, this is real now. It's not just our friends and family. We now have to
actually make it.
This person paid us.
What was that feeling like, that first customer?
Still feel it, man. It was so we've had first customers before, many firsts, but that was just different because it was like we kind of because it was me and him. We just looked at each other. We're like, oh shit! Now we gotta make the smoothie for the guy.
It's very memorable though. Like that first customer. Like I still remember his name. You remembered the smoothie he ordered.
I remember what kind of dog he had.
Exactly. So I feel like you really have to treat. In terms of business, this is so huge. You have to remember that first customer and treat every customer that comes in like it's their first time, it's your first customer. If you can make their experience you just remember their name, you just remember what kind of dog they have, their dog had diarrhea last week, how's your dog doing, they're gonna be like, oh, this person actually gives a shit, they really care.
Names are a big thing too. If you can remember people's names, they get attached.
But so much more than that, the name is bare minimum, but remembering this person's story, this person's life, your communication with them, and really building on your friendship with them.
You know what the easiest way to do that of doing that is?
What?
Genuinely caring about these people, because everyone's pretty cool. Obviously there's some people that just don't want to talk and they're just kind of to themselves, and that's fine. But 90% of the people, they want to feel that love and kind of that energy from you. So if you genuinely care, these people will be your 1,000 fans that want to come to you often. So I guess being genuine is the most important thing.
It's crazy to see you guys actually in the weeds, because I saw it happen. It was just you two in the beginning, and you learned everything. And then when you got your coffee machine, you guys didn't know anything about coffee. You're
it was me, you, and our cousin
Mika.
He helped us a lot.
Yeah, and then you were just like, I gotta figure out how to make coffee now. I'm gonna go mess around with it and get that latte art down.
Coffee was tough, dude.
Figuring it out. I had no idea, but I'm pretty good at latte art now.
Our coffee is delicious, man. I don't go I'm disgusted of Starbucks. I'm sorry. Like I can't.
Don't
drink
apologize.
Starbucks. You know, like
It just tastes burnt.
it tastes burnt. Our coffee is delicious. I wish we brought you one today. I don't know if you've had it. Have you had our
Yeah, I've
coffee?
had it.
Yeah, like I don't go to any other coffee shop, and we've just mastered it because it took us time, dude. Like we didn't just bring the coffee machine and like we learned the craft. You know, like it's crazy. Like how much weight you have to put when you tamper it, when you puck the coffee puck, how many seconds it has to pull. You know, like in what kind of a cup can it
The
fall
weight, the
in?
grain.
The grain, yeah, like exactly what grain you have to grind it at. So it's an art that you learn and then ultimately becomes a business.
Why? Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say, and then you realize like all of these coffee shops you go to, and like the people don't really care about any of that. You're like, okay, this makes sense why your coffee doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
Oh, like Starbucks or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for the
Everything's automated
experience.
there.
It's like that they go there for the experience of what Starbucks is known for.
Yeah,
right?
but I think
Like-
it's on a downhill trend, dude. I think they're closing a lot of stores.
Are they really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Starbucks is closing a lot of stores.
How do you guys promote? I guess the coffee. You say it's like some of the best coffee that you ever had. Like, do you want to be known for that as well for Whatapeach?
You know, I don't. We haven't promoted too much.
You haven't?
Yeah,
I've saw that one reel or that one TikTok.
Yeah, I think we got to start doing. It's all been natural, like natural growth. We've done a few promotional reels, but we're learning the importance of promoting reels and promoting Instagram things. But we want to know we want to be known as not just like a place that you get the best coffee, even though that it is some of the best coffee you could have in LA. But we want to be known as like this really fun place people can come and feel comfortable, but also have like gourmet quick food. You know, like it's not like you can't go to Jamba Juice and get a meal that you're gonna be proud of and you're gonna enjoy. You know, like
No, the toast is different. Like when I remember going Jamba Juice when I was in high school, and I'd get like the amount of sugar is like way higher than you guys.
Insane.
Even though like
yeah,
fruits and stuff have sugar, you guys put agave, but it's all like natural, sweet stuff. Like Jamba Juice, they have their ice cream in there and their gelatos, and then or whatever it's called, and then they have these like prepackaged waffles, or in Starbucks they have their prepackaged sandwiches that they just heat up in the microwave or the oven, and it comes out.
You know, it's being made in some like insanely large factory. It's not being touched by humans. It's just like being made by machines, and there's no care in it.
Did you guys hear about that McDonald's that has no in-person employees anymore?
I saw that. That's crazy.
Bro, do you think the world's going that way?
I feel like, sorry, this is kind of off topic, but there's a difference in the way something tastes depending on who makes it.
100%.
If you see someone like putting their love into the food they're making, that's gonna taste so different.
Yeah.
So I just pictured this McDonald's restaurant I just picture it tasting like metal. It just tastes bad.
You can't catch me at I'll never eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
Ugh. But like, I think that too. I feel like when you're making food and you're putting your energy into the food, the customer or even whoever's eating the food that you prepared for them, they'll feel that energy, you know? That's why when you go to a McDonald's and you eat it, you feel horrible after. It's not just because of the ingredients that are in it. It's also the energy that's being put into these like tortured cows and the bread that's been sitting out for months, you know? Like, I don't know. There's like a lot of energy is everywhere. I don't know if you believe in energy the way
I just the way you're talking about it, it's so different than I've ever, I guess, experienced it, and I'm trying to understand as best as possible.
Energy, everything is energy, right? Like everything starts off as energy. This is energy. Like there's vibrations, you know. So like everything is good or bad energy, you know. So like I feel like
because like when I think about energy, when you're talking about energy, when you were saying like, you could tell people's energy if it's negative vibrations, good vibrations. Right now, like obviously it's like all good vibrations. We're hanging out, we're talking, and for me, like I have I guess the way I read people, it's like I just don't hang out with anybody who gives me bad vibes, and that's the best way to explain it. That's the only way, and I haven't gone deeper. So that's why when you're talking about energies from like object materials and the way like the meat was raised, like a healthy cow, into like being taken care of by like someone who's cutting the meat properly. Like if you look at a sushi chef, the way they cut the fish, right? It's very aesthetically pleasing. They take care of it. They use everything, like all the scraps they use for a like spicy tuna, right? Instead of just the nigiri, they use all the nice fish for that, and then they use everything. They take care of it.
Yeah.
So you describing it that way is totally different than I've ever heard of energies before.
I feel like once I started living that way and taking everything as energy, I noticed my life in general just become better because I take things a little bit. I'm conscious about things, like I feel things a little bit more than I did rather than just being unconscious about it, and just letting life pass by. So I guess it's another form of consciousness, just feeling that energy from everything.
Would you compare it to like intuition? Like you feel good about this thing?
Yeah, I guess so. Intuition is like a big part. I guess I would compare intuition to consciousness versus energy.
Because intuition would be subjective, wouldn't it?
Would it? Why?
Because someone could think that, oh, I'm hanging out with Nate. He seems like a great person. Someone else could be like, oh, I'm hanging out with Nate. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I feel too good about him. You know what I'm saying? Those are different people's intuition towards like somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I guess subjective would be the definition of subjective is it's reality
your
per
view
person.
on whatever you're seeing.
I guess then it would be. Yeah.
But also there's like for example, I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Mel's Dine-In on Ventura.
Yeah.
There's a heavy energy when you walk into that space.
What do you mean?
There's definitely been some murders.
Someone's
there, bro.
died there for sure. I haven't looked it up.
We'll go there together if you're.
Okay, but I'm just saying it's subjective. But if multiple people agree and they're like, yeah, I feel that energy too, then it's kind of like
I just know some funky shit.
Mel's Diner's been around for a minute. The owners used to work out at F45.
What?
Yeah.
The owners?
Yeah, the current owner. So it's like the generation down.
Wait, nice. The owner of Mel's Diner.
Yeah. He used to work out at F45.
Oh, work out. I thought you said work. I was like, he's only like 100 and something years old.
No, it was like their son's son or something like that. Got it, their wives were working out at F45 when it was like the only fitness space in LA.
Nice.
What do you call it? So what's your guys' workout routine right now? What do you guys do?
We keep it pretty simple, honestly. We have a muscle group split, so we do chest and tris.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
You guys work out together every single day?
Yeah,
every day.
I think we push each other. We just did a max on our bench. I'm very happy.
What did you guys get?
2 plates.
245.
225.
225.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 45, 45, 45, 45.
That's big.
Yeah.
So we do chest and tris, buys and back, shoulders and traps, legs and abs.
Yeah.
And shoulders and traps, and then legs and abs.
Yeah.
So that's 5-day split.
And then we just
4
continue.
days, and then we repeat.
4 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't take days off right now.
0 days off.
Yeah. Right now we're taking 0 days off. I mean, unless like something comes up and we have to skip. But
how intense do you guys go?
We push ourselves to failure. Like, I mean, if we don't stop until like we have to stop. As far as like, or I mean,
I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, like
we really push ourselves to the limit every time.
Like for example, on a bench press, the 2 plates, I can only do 1.
Yeah.
If I go for the second one, I'm dropping it.
Yeah.
So,
but then the week after, like we're trying to do 2, trying to do 3. You know, we're always pushing to do more. So I would say it's kind of like to the limit.
We're not lazy. We're not in there doing Zumba. Like we're
sure.
We're trying to.
Classes are tough.
So training at around 85% of that for sets of 3 to 5 will help your 1 rep max go up a little bit more.
Training at 85%.
So taking it easy each time or taking a rest day?
So 225 pounds, right? You take around 85 to 90% of that and do not just 1, but like anywhere between the reps of like 3 to 5.
Okay.
For like sets of 5 will help increase your max within the, like down the road. Does that make sense? Because you hitting that 1 rep max of that 225, trying to hit it every single time is not the most efficient to build strength, right?
Yeah.
Just because you can't do that, your body your system won't allow you to do so. So if you could train at around 85% and then next after that do accessory movements, right? So like, for example, if you're getting stuck at the halfway mark at 90 degrees, clearly your chest is being able to push up. What do you got to work on? Your triceps and maybe your front delts, right? So do some tricep extensions, do some front raises, and then over time, probably if you guys are working out as much as you are right now, you'd probably get those numbers to go up a lot quicker.
That's such a smart thing. I never thought of it like that because we jumped from 45-25 to 45-45. from a plate 25 to 2 plates. So we never hit the in-betweens, and
Yeah.
it would make a lot more sense to
So
hit the in-betweens.
hitting the in-betweens for more reps and more sets will help you get to past the 2-plate mark.
I'd be down to try that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I could send you guys some programs too.
We would love to work
Yeah.
out with you too. I know you guys go pretty heavy.
Oh
but
yeah, no, come check it
Yeah.
out. What do you
We
call
have
it?
to wear the sandals.
I want to buy those sandals, man.
Yeah, man.
I'll send them your way. So there's
Yeah.
this guy. He is big on talking about passion and art. And the guy who runs that company, it's called Mazatli. His name is George. He runs it out of his small little shed in his house in LA. And he's just passionate about ancient Aztec sandals. Like if you look at these statues, they have the 2 rings between the big toe and then the 2 toes down for like really good like grip and strength. I mean, like it's if you put them on, you're like, whoa. It's a totally different feeling, like better than any flip flop, this and that. And especially when it rains or when it's wet, like you can move so well with them. You know, and he's so passionate about it, and he just hand makes these sandals, like has these machines, cuts it out himself, so goes to the shops, gets the Vibram soles and puts them together, and he just like loves it. And they had like these Japanese investors found his page on Instagram and literally came to his house and like checked him out and ordered some. It's crazy, but it's just a one-man job, and he's trying to grow, and we're trying to figure out how to help him. But yeah, it's crazy.
I will definitely be customers. You know what's funny? Like in our culture, in our Armenian culture, like you are not allowed to wear sandals outside of your.
Why is that?
Like it's just not like guys don't show off their feet outside of their home. Like
What's the reasoning?
You know how in The Sopranos you're not supposed to wear shorts?
Yeah.
Like
It's kind of
the same
like
thing.
you're not like as an Armenian, you're also not supposed to wear shorts outside
Does it
of the
say
house.
that in a book? Does it say that?
It's like the unwritten rule
It's
of
weird
being.
though, but then you
It's
see
a
like
full time.
super armo guys wearing like shorts, like jean shorts and
Yeah.
sandals. Like
It's like a full-time job being Armenian, especially if you're like in the Armenian community of guys too. Like there's a lot of rules you have to follow. Like you shouldn't be wearing sandals. That's the kind of thing that we're trying to break, you know, because why the fuck not, bro?
also a lot of Armenians, like Armenian men, they don't really, not to say like they don't take care of themselves. They don't work out. They don't watch
work
their
out,
diet. They literally the diet is alcohol, cigarettes, heavy like meat, a lot of protein, but
Whatever they eat,
really
yeah.
like whatever it is, there's no like care about like diet. So in our community, we have a lot of people
Asking you
dying
questions.
from heart attacks.
Oh.
No, like really dropping very young from heart
Very
attacks,
young.
heart
Really?
problems, like really severe health problems, different C words.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like we're really trying to break that mold. Like at our age, to be in fitness, to be in like showing people like what it really means to eat clean.
Be a good example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What's Armenian food like?
It's a lot of bread. It's a lot of rice. You know,
A lot of meat too,
a
but
lot of meat.
it's accompanied by a lot of like empty carbs, so it like doesn't really benefit you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who demonize, I guess like in the last decade, like red meat's been demonized.
I thought it was like on a trending up because
It's trending now, it's
Yeah?
trending up.
Okay, cool,
Trending, right now it's trending up.
I love
But for a
meat.
long time, red meat was being demonized.
Yeah.
And the reason why, because like a lot of these studies, there's like, what is the red meat being eaten with? It's just they're just talking about people who eat red meat. Okay. Is it people who eat red meat, but they have like rustic buttery potatoes with it? Are you having mashed potatoes with it? Are you having like French fries and like garlic bread and X, Y, and Z with all this type of red meat? They're not tracking that. Just people who eat red meat, right? And are they tracking the people who are just eating carnivore diet and just really good lean steaks and they're shredded and they have great blood pressure? No, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to factor in the whole equation, you know.
I agree.
So why are you guys trying to break this mold?
Honestly, because like my circle of friends, we come from a very like 2 years ago, right? Like every time we get together, we drink, and when we drink, we don't drink a drink. We have between 2 people, we'll finish a whole bottle of tequila.
I know it's impressive. I've seen you guys do that. I've
Like,
seen people do it.
Just last weekend, like I sat down with my friend. We were at an event. I drank a half of a bottle. I went to an engagement party afterwards. I drank half of a bottle. Like when you think about that, people do that constantly every single day. You know, and like it's not healthy. You know,
That's not healthy for sure.
It's definitely not healthy. But to us, it's not they don't think about it. To us, it's not like, oh, it's not healthy. We don't care about it.
Do you think it's just not in their brain at all? They don't think about it?
It's just never been talked about, dude. So if it becomes a little bit more...
Like, it's not educated. They don't know what does to their body.
No, they know. They just don't care. Like, to them, it's a manly thing to drink. Like, if you don't drink, it's kind of like, oh, why not? What's wrong with you? Like, now, like, a lot of the young generation, people our age, like 30 or a little bit younger, now they're taking care of their health. Like, they're not drinking as much. Smoking cigarettes. Like, now our people don't really smoke that much. But the older generation, like us growing up, everyone smoked. All the guys smoked.
Yeah.
And like when you think about cigarettes, like it's the worst, like it's the most disgusting thing, but it's a generational curse that we're slowly breaking through generations.
Well, it's not just like Armenians. Like, it's in a lot of cultures. Like Europe, smoking culture is insane.
It's huge. Yeah.
I was like, I never smoked, but I was smoking the rolled up cigarettes with a cappuccino every morning. I was like, why am I doing this? I just feel cool doing it, you know? And then I came back to the States and I was like, okay, I don't crave any cigarettes anymore, So it's just built in the culture sometimes.
Yeah. Luckily, like if you have a personality where you don't get addicted to it, like, yeah, it's cool. You should. Like, I love to smoke a cigarette. That's kind of my other vice, I guess. Like, I'll smoke a cigarette if I'm drinking, but I'm not going to smoke the next day, and I'm not going to smoke a whole pack. I'll smoke one cigarette and I'm done.
Well, the moderation thing is like a lot of people don't talk about. Like, for example, I'm a personal trainer and I talk a lot about health and fitness and this and that, but I also like having a cocktail here and there, but I'm not getting blacked out all the time, Yeah. And living life in the 80-20 of like 80% like great and 20% like having fun. Like, obviously, like pizza's good. Like, cakes are good, ice cream is good. It's cool to have that every once in a while.
Yeah.
And don't suffer yourself from all the life's beauties. You could have Whatapeach, Nutella, and strawberries,
I love that, man. 80-20, I think that's a solid way to live,
be
man.
strict with yourself. Because I know, like...
people just say that.
You could say that. You could say, I'm gonna have one cheat meal, cheat day a week for the stuff I eat, and then you kind of like you're like, okay, today's Tuesday. All right, I had this pizza. Today will be my cheat day, and then Friday comes around. You're like, all right, it's all right. I'll just have this too. Today is my actual cheat day.
Ends up being like 60-40.
Exactly. You have to be strict.
And also 80-20 only if you're at that level of maintaining, like if you're going towards a goal, you need to be at 100.
I mean? It comes from the Bible. And you talk about, it's Matthew's Law there, I think it's called. It's the Pareto principle, 80-20.
I don't think I got to that part. I didn't read the whole Bible, by the way. There's a lot to read.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons in the Bible too. It's a lot.
But it's cool, man.
Well, how was it reading it? Did you start it from the beginning?
So I did start it from the beginning, and then I talked to my uncle who's a pastor, and he's like, look, don't read it from the Old Testament.
Why not?
I don't know. He's like, there's a lot of stuff in there that's going to confuse you, and you're going to off the bat kind of be a little bit turned off
Greg's
by
over
it.
here reading business books, and you're over here reading the confusing Bible.
Hard, extra hard.
75 too hard. And then he told me to cut down to, I don't remember what it was. I think it was like it might have been the Matthews. It was like the middle of the book, and then I read that part, and then I went back to the beginning. So
what did you get out of reading the Bible?
Honestly, man, like there was this feeling in my heart that like this is the truth. Like I know this sounds like, I don't know if it sounds weird to some people, but it's I guess the Bible is something that you feel. It's not something that you can read and be like, yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've met other people before who have very strong ties to the higher ups. I would say, like people that are medians and they could talk to spirits and stuff like that. Like, so that kind of gives me a little bit more faith as far as like I believe there are extra, like other things outside of just us. Like our soul and this and that. Like, I got out of it that if you live a good life, and again, honestly, like praying in God, I feel like translates to the same thing as manifesting.
Meditating and manifesting.
Meditating, like asking God for something, very similar to meditating and manifesting what you want. Like praying to God, very similar to meditation. Because I feel like I get the same...
Some people would say it's similar, one and the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? So if... Yeah, you want to put a word on it and you don't want to put God, but God was here, talked about way before manifestation and meditation. So I obviously don't care what anyone believes in, and I'm not someone to argue with because I don't know any, I don't know enough to argue with you. But I don't know. I got out of it. I felt a very lightness in my heart. I kind of like a weight lifted off of me, and just like a thought where like, yeah, this is something that I want to follow. It seems like something that I could base my life off of.
Do you know who Jordan Peterson is at all?
Of course, yeah.
So I was reading a lot of his book, 12 Rules for Life. Changed my life when I was like in college. I was just like, and a lot of the rules are based off the Bible. And he also was talking about, because as a young man, you question like everything. You're like, what's real? What's this? What's that? Like, what do I believe in? What do I want to start? Like, what am I going to do with my life? I feel like you guys had those feelings growing up. And in terms of religion and God, like Jordan Peterson would always say, like, at least I just want to live my life as if God exists, meaning like be a good person, be kind to people, do the things that Jesus would do in those aspects. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing the good of what you define good as, like you're making the whole world better, regardless if you believe it or not.
You want to hear something funny, man? Like one of the main things that kind of like stuck to me at the time that I was reading this book, someone owed me $100,000. It was probably like one of the more
reading the Bible.
As soon as I was reading the Bible, and it wasn't like, it was a time where I wanted the money back and it wasn't coming back. Like I was getting a little bit of pushback from the person that owed me that money. And it was so crazy because I read in the Bible, it says when your neighbor takes something from you, and I think it was talking about money. Like if you let your neighbor borrow money and he doesn't give it back, bring someone else, bring another friend, and come and talk to that friend. So it becomes a real thing, like it becomes a real problem. If he still doesn't listen to you, if he still doesn't give your money back, just pray to God about it. And it was so insane because it was so similar to what was going on with me, and I did pray to God about it. And I shit you not, bro, like maybe 2 months later, the guy brought my money back. And I was like, and in that time, like if it was the old me that hadn't been reading the Bible, I probably would have stressed myself out to like losing all of my hair.
Why lend money?
I'm a nice guy. I shouldn't be. I know. It's the worst thing. Like when
some people like investing in others, right?
Well, it wasn't really an investment. It was like, honestly, like the thing about me is when I'm friends with someone, and this was a friend of mine, I give myself my all to my friends, and
quality.
It is a good quality. My brother always tells me like, chill out, dude. Like you don't have to give give 95% rather than 100, but I give my all to the people that I really love and respect. And thank God, I'm very grateful that the person that this happened with, he came out on top and he did exactly like what I wanted him to do. And like, he's my brother for life. Like, but it was just funny that at that moment when this was happening in the Bible, it talked about a friend you lent money to isn't giving you your money back and what to do. I was like, what are you talking about? Like,
do you believe in some of that stuff? So like when I read some things, like if it's on the internet, or like the other day I was listening to a podcast and they base similar situations. Like I'm going through this thing business wise and I'm just listening to the podcast, just working on the website. And what I was searching for like came through the podcast. And I was like, that's exactly what I needed. I was like, boom, bang, done. Yeah. And I'm just like, similar to your, like you found your answer.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what to do.
Energy, baby.
Yeah, things have a way of finding themselves to you at the time you need them. It's weird. Like you could find, like when I'm reading books, like a lot of the stuff will be like, this is exactly what I'm going through right now. But I don't know how that timing works out so perfectly.
For Dawg,
maybe we're just making connections ourselves.
Could be. Yeah. And then you just are like, oh, it's meant to be.
And also like just
could be all be coincidence, but I just don't think it's coincidence.
Coincidence? I feel like if it was coincidence and it was happening, I don't know. Coincidence is a little weird for me because if it was a coincidence, then a lot of other coincidence should have happened. You know what I'm saying?
What are the chances?
Like what are the chances at that exact time? And like I don't know.
But I guess everyone's life is composed of all the decisions they make, right? You decide to do Whatapeach, and with all the small micro decisions that you do, you come up on top after the first year. And you're like, whoa, like if I did not make all those decisions or that first big decision of just starting the smoothie company, like none of this would have happened. And then the trajectories wouldn't happen. All these connections to help this community and give all these people smoothies and remember all like that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Just that one started there, you know?
Yeah.
For Dawgfood, what was the first thing of like, oh, we should, because it looks like a dog food bag. And why go there?
I think
Why market it that way?
we want people to really associate it with a bag of protein. You know what I mean? Like instead of drinking a protein shake, we really want people to take this instead. It's literally the same process, the same amount of time as like taking something, scooping it, and you shake it and it's ready. Basically, you take this, you scoop it, you microwave it for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and you're good to go. You know, so that's in terms of ease. That's that's what we're trying to get at with the bag. It's not a meal prep. It's not something where like someone sat there and like prepared this meal for you. It's like your goal is to get clean protein and get it fast. Here it is. Like it's straight to the point. It's
So you can microwave it. You don't need to grill it.
You don't need to grill it.
Because I saw on the pan that you guys did.
Yeah.
I like to cook it on the pan, but you could just microwave it and even quicker.
What's your marketing strategy for everything? Because I guess you have Whatapeach right now that's kind of grown, like in terms of you've done the social media stuff, you've grown it, proof of concept there. Like how do you start from the ground up? Because Dawgfood's still like in the growing phases. Like how did you get from Dawgfood up to like Whatapeach?
I think they're both still in the growing stages. Like even Whatapeach's marketing still takes like daily work. We like make sure this stuff is like we work with the social media team to make sure that like things are working properly, going in the right direction.
What does the social media team do?
They come in, they shoot content. We work with them to see like what's trending, what's changing in the algorithms, what's trending on TikTok, what works on Instagram. You know, so many of this stuff is changing. Like YouTube, like this helps with SEO, you know, like so just knowing knowing what's going on with all these social medias and making content accordingly going forward.
What do you mean what's going on with them?
All of these platforms have constantly things that are changing, you know, like for TikTok, for example, recently they're promoting more, like they boost content that's more horizontal because they want to compete with YouTube and more like long form content. So I think
because they're doing like minute videos now.
Exactly, minute videos, but they're also giving themselves space on the top and bottom for in the future to possibly put ads, you know? So just knowing this and getting better at those horizontal videos, you start shooting it in a different format and you kind of like set yourself up for success.
And knowing these like little things, right? Like he's a master at that. Like that's the difference from making a couple thousand to making 20, 30,000.
Just a small thing.
It's small things, yeah. Small changes that can make a big difference. You know what I mean?
Where did you, I guess, how do you learn all these small skills that end up changing the whole entire company?
Really just research, acquiring all of these from different places. Like really just, I know you say like I'm always on my phone. I'm always working on my phone. I'm always looking for new things, like just absorbing information like a sponge.
What's the most important information someone should know or have?
In terms of growing a business or social media?
Social media.
Most important information is really stepping outside of that like discomfort of like I don't want to be on camera and really putting yourself in front of your brand. If you really believe in
You're really in front of it.
We're trying.
Okay.
We're still like I don't think
I
I'm
haven't
100%
I haven't
there.
seen you much on
So I just built the confidence to do it. Before I did not want to be doing it, but and
Why is
also
that?
I don't know. It's just not something that I was.
Good looking beard, bro.
I know it's, but it just became like this.
It's not about being on camera and like making a fool of yourself doing funny content.
It's the ego, man. It's the ego. Literally, like if you get rid of that, like if you stop caring, like the reason why I don't want to be on camera is because I'm thinking like, what's this person gonna think or what's that person gonna think? But then, you know, like I always thought like Whatapeach doesn't really match my personality, just because I've always thought like I kind of look mean. I don't look like a nicer person.
You never came off as mean, bro.
So, you know what I mean? Like, but that's just that's my ego messing with me to like hold me back. But like, I've gotten over that. It's just like self work. Now I'm just kind of like, okay, now it's time. Like I need to get rid of all that bullshit that my brain is telling me and just do what needs to be done. And I think that's the biggest thing, just getting rid of that ego and putting yourself on camera. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. If you believe in your business, then you just have to put yourself as the brand.
Be genuine. Put yourself on camera. Be genuine with what you're saying and give people value. Like, everyone is good at a certain thing. Like, think about what you're good at and give people value of that.
What value is given through... The funny thing was, you did that, I think, social media thing of... What's the guy eating a piece of bread? The actor? In front of you pouring coffee?
The one that went viral. Yeah.
Pedro?
Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro. Like, what value is that in pure entertainment? I'm just laughing. That thing went off!
That's understanding...
value
that's understanding the algorithm of, like, Instagram. Like, if you didn't know that...
Because I saw that, and I was like, how is this going off right now?
I swear,
I gotta give credit to my girl for that one. That wasn't me, but she knew, like, this is trending right now, and she just posted it, and it blew up.
You know what I mean? Like, if
With
you're on
you
it...
guys' coffee behind it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
That could have been another reason why it popped off so fast, man. I was like...
I think the reason that popped off was the crunch. People are, like, attracted to that
Sounds.
ASMR.
Yeah.
Do you get the ASMR? I don't really understand
I don't get it, but we've been shooting a lot of cool ASMR, so...
People love their
I get
ASMR,
it. I
bro.
don't get the... what is it? The mukbangs? Like, when people are eating on camera? Oh, my God. Have you seen those?
What do you mean?
So there's a bunch of videos on TikTok, on YouTube, and just people being really close to the mic and eating, and you hear the crunching. It's disgusting. I don't know.
Do you consume a lot of social media because you are paying attention to styles?
Yes, I think that's the main reason. Like, anything that doesn't have to do with, like, my work, I just, like, mark it as not interested, and I'm just, like, blocking away stuff that I don't like, and it's just, like, stuff only feeding that creative part of it.
Yeah.
What research?
What does creativity do for you guys?
He's the one that's creative.
I mean, you're the one who created all the recipes.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah, there's a different type of creativity we have. What does it do for you?
Well, I mean, honestly, creativity is a big thing too. Like, if you're not a creative person, you're obviously not going to come up with the good business plans and the content. So I feel like creativity is what gives life to most of what we've done. You know, like creativity brings life to ideas in your head that are just solid thoughts, and then that creativity brings it to, life. So, and I mean, like creativity brings joy to your life. You think about ideas, and like you have to be creative to think of yourself as the version of yourself that you want to become, and you have to be creative to think of the business in the way that you want it to be. So, I guess creativity builds that vision in your mind of who you want to become, and ultimately, all it is the space between you and that thought, the time for you to get there to become the person that you want to become. I guess I don't know.
Like, for me, creativity, I see it as, like, the process of creating, like...
Yeah, beautiful answer. Yeah,
like, for Whatapeach, like, just seeing it come from a sketch that was in my sketchbook to, like, what it looks like in front to the menu.
You designed the peach yourself?
All of it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I got to give credit to you for the butt.
I did
butt
the butt.
cheeks were your idea.
Oh, shit. I
You don't remember that?
Nice.
Yo,
man.
it's a touch. It's a
Nice,
good touch.
That's perfect.
It's
People love it.
People love it.
People do love the butt. That's awesome, man. I didn't know that. Thank you for reminding me. That's cool.
So that's what it is. Just like seeing something come to life from something that was just a sketch.
What does that do for you?
I don't know. It just makes me happy. It gives me so much peace.
You're creating, like you're a creator.
Creating life.
That's insane. Yeah.
Because without those thoughts, without that creativity, like it wouldn't be in the world.
Yeah.
And
you build something, like you're a creator.
It makes me think that like that's the purpose of it. It's just like you're providing value to the world to make it, I guess, that community of each like Whatapeach better. For me, it's like my gym space. I'm like, oh, these people are living a better life because of the programs that I'm telling them to do, and based on those programs, that program is like the art of giving them movements to change their body,
Yep.
right? And like without that, they wouldn't experience what they're feeling right now. Without your guys' thoughts and creativity in that aspect, these people wouldn't have a beautiful experience with strawberry toast and a great smoothie.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if you one of the few movies like that I really enjoyed. It was called Lucy. I don't know if you've heard
Lucy.
of it. Yeah. It's Scarlett Johansson, and like she takes the pill that makes her mind work at 100%.
No.
The whole point of the movie, and like this is actually what made me. I watched it recently. I watched it like a couple of weeks ago. I had a stomach flu, so I was at home for a couple of days.
You feel better?
Yeah. Thank you for asking, by the way. And it like I guess the message that it was trying to portray was the whole point of life at 100%. This was what her mind pretty much came up with. The reason for life is to pass down information or pass down knowledge to someone else so that they could pass it down. So like passing down knowledge. So that's the point of life. Like whatever you've learned, pass it down to the next person. So I felt like that was a little bit of a calling for me too. It was kind of like, okay, whatever you've learned, teach other people so they could create a life for themselves too. You know?
That's a big thing in like martial arts culture. It's like, oh, they're passing down these skills to their students, right?
Yep.
And the one thing that I don't know if Armenian culture is the same thing as, I guess, Asian culture that I was in. Like my mom like didn't want to share recipes and stuff like growing up. And a lot of Asian households like don't. And then now like with the internet, every recipe is on the internet. Like if it's out there. And what social media did is allow information to be spread way quicker, right? If you want to make pho, my mom's recipe, like you could find it probably with someone else's Asian mom talking about it on their YouTube channel, you know? And the thing is, it's so important, like you said, that's a great point. We want to have that type of food for forever. Yeah. We want people to be able to make it, you know, and grow businesses for a very long time, you know? Do you treat business as a game at all?
Yeah, I mean, we have fun with it, man. Like we don't take it too seriously, you know. Like it is a game.
Yeah.
You know, like you win some, you lose some.
Because you guys seem so relaxed. Every time I talk to you guys, you're just like, yeah, just another day. We're figuring it out.
It takes like, a lot of panic attacks.
A lot of people like maybe I'm not seeing the panic attacks or the stress at all, but every time I talk to people who are like in the weeds of business and trying to grow it, and even the people who've like done well, like they're usually just like on one, you know. And you guys just seem so relaxed.
You know what it is, dude? Like after a certain point, you realize like, okay, what are you working towards, right? You're working towards a life of tranquility and just being able to relax and enjoy your money, right? So ultimately, you're working to be happy, right? But you're never gonna be happy when you have the money and you don't do the work to be happy before you have the money. Like there's been times where I've had a lot of money and I was depressed and I was anxious and I was not happy with myself. And there was times where I was at the low bottom. I was broke and I was happier than I was just because of my mental state. Like you have to find, I feel like, a balance where you have to work hard, but and you have to have something that you're striving for, you know, an endpoint, something that you want to grow and build an empire. But I feel like you can't be unhappy if you don't have money. Like you have to be happy with where you are for you to even start getting on the level of growth to the point like where God's only going to put you on the track if you're ready for it, you know? So, and if you're not ready for it, I mean, if you want to get ready for it, you have to start by being happy with what he's already given you, you know? Like every night I go to bed and I'm like, I'm grateful for literally the simplest thing, having a bed. Like when we got married, we got like a very expensive mattress, and growing up, I never had a good mattress. Every night I prayed, I thank God for having that mattress. So I'm happy with the bare minimum of what I have.
It's like, this bed's awesome, man.
I fucking love this bed.
I'm going to bed.
I'm jealous of that bed. That's a cool bed.
The thing is, like, there's people that don't even have a bed, you know? So how can I not be calm? How can I be anxious about the future when I already have so much?
Is that easier for you to say now just because, like, you've got to where you're at, like, versus, like, I don't know, a homeless guy on the streets right now?
You know what it is, bro? Like maybe, but I could have very easily been a homeless guy on the street. It's one decision away for a lot of people. You know, like I know there's people that are like down and out, like just down on their luck and there's no way for them to come up. But like I feel like it's a very low percentage of people, especially in this country, man. America gives you so much opportunity that you could come. We had nothing when we came to America. My mom, we were living in the back house of like someone that like charged us like $1,000 a month. Me and my brother were sleeping in the kitchen. My mom and my sister was sleeping in the one room. It was a 1 room bedroom, 4 of us. The car she drove had a literal hole in the middle on the floors where if you put your foot out, you would scrape your foot on the floor.
It's like the Flintstones car.
Like we could have been homeless.
Serious.
100%.
We could have went the complete opposite direction very easily.
Yeah, it's all mentality, dude. Like what changes the homeless person that's on the street right now? What changes his like life versus mine? I've also had zero. It's just the mentality. Like drugs, mentality, things that like I know there's people that are, like just did not have a chance and had it way worse than I did. But there was times we didn't have money for food. There was times where like we. Like there's just times like we could have gone sideways, There was times where like I was doing drugs as a kid, like smoking weed and like not listening to my mom. I could have been like, you know what, I'm leaving. I'm not gonna stay at this house. Turned sideways and been a homeless on the street. Like I think the difference in general is just mindset. You could be whatever you want to be. I don't care who you are. If I wanted to today, I could start training for the NBA and be in the NBA. Might be hard, like maybe not, but like I just feel like everyone could be what they want to be. It's not a matter of I was raised without a father. Like a lot of people use that as an excuse.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. Like I was raised without a father, but that made me the person that I am because he gave me character. Like it made me more of a man. I'm more. I know that I have to be a better parent to my kids because I didn't have that.
You're a good father because you know what it's like to not have a good father. I mean, not to have a father.
So what's the difference? Like, it's not like my mom raised me so much better than anyone else's mom. Like, yeah, there are some parents that are bad, and I love my mom. My mom's the best, and she did a lot for us. But also there was times that we had nothing, So I think it's just a mentality shift. Like, you're either a person that's willing to go to the top, a person that's okay with just being in the middle, or you just want to give up and not be anything. So
how do you guys keep going, and especially with all these failures through business? Because there's a lot of people who would just like throw in the towel or like not have the resources to continue going. Like they would have to be pulling out the loans, that a friend who's like asking for $100,000 to like help continue their dream and stuff like that. Like how do you guys keep going?
I mean,
I think we keep going because we have a common goal in mind, and we're basically not stopping until we get there. There's a vision, and we always talk about it with each other, like, where is the place where you're happy in life? What do you see around you? Like we talk about envisioning it. Like for him, like he explains the type of backyard he has or what he's
and you guys just talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, yo, what's your ideal life right now? Like you'll sit down and just talk.
Yeah, exactly. The car that's in front of the house. Like who's in the backyard with you? Who's in the? What are you drinking in your cup? Are you smoking a cigar?
Just like a normal part of the day. You're like, hey, bro, like what's really?
It's usually when we're working out, because like when you're walking or like you're running, you're exercising, like your blood circulating, and like it's a great place to think.
You know what I do? I see myself in that place where I am, and then I see my current self walk up to the self that I want in the future and shake hands and be like, "Oh, you're doing all right. Just keep doing what you're doing." Like my future self is telling my current self, like, "You're all right. Look at what you've built." You're just envisioning that life that you want. You know what I mean?
And I've heard this too. The best advice to ever receive is from the future version of yourself, because that's the only person who knows exactly what you're going through right now.
Nice. I haven't heard that. That's nice.
Because so many people want to give other people advice, and it's like, I don't want to listen to you, because the ideal life of the person who you see in your head with the house and the car or whatever environment, they don't see that.
Yeah.
They don't know what you're going through in that aspect. But I guess diving deeper, I guess like the failure part, like did you guys have any points where you're like, oh, I don't know if this business is going to work out?
Honestly, man, there's been a lot of times where I was like, I'd be such a great car salesman. I'll sell 1 million.
Just drop
I
everything.
swear to God, like,
Did you guys have any other side gigs besides just starting businesses?
never, man.
I think you have to burn the boats. You have
Yeah.
to really
All of
get
'em.
rid of
Yeah.
any other options.
rid of all
And
of
if
it.
you're gonna spend 20% of your day working on a side gig to make money, like spend that 20% and put that on the energy on this company and make that better.
Yeah.
But don't you need money to survive?
You do, but in the beginning, like I don't know, we survived off of very little until things started to roll
Yeah.
forward. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
So you guys burnt all the boats. Like 100% was in.
I have nowhere to go if this fails, bro. Nowhere to
so
go.
there's no option. You don't have any
Yeah.
options.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, this beautiful country where you could drive Uber
Yeah.
and you'll make your money. You know what I'm saying? So
But that's a side gig.
yeah, I mean, I don't. That's not an option for me. Like,
Yeah.
unless of course everything fails and
Yeah, sure.
I'll go sideways. But I'll drive Uber until I collect enough money to open up a new business.
It's
You know?
like you're going to study the heck out of marketing all night and figure out how to use this camera to be able to sell some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Failure makes you think like, oh, maybe I would have been all right with a job, but like, and then you think about this life that you want to build for yourself. You're not going to build a life of luxury and a life of being able to help other people if you just have a job that's covering your bills and okay, maybe you have
It's
a good
not.
job
No.
and you get to go on a couple of vacation. That's not the life I want to. I want to live a life where, like I always tell my brother, like I want to live the kind of life where I could call you on a Tuesday afternoon and be like, hey, you want to go to Italy for some noodles or for some pasta.
Some pasta.
Some pasta
Some
for
pasta.
lunch. Like that's the kind of life I want to live. And it doesn't sound like it's too far away because it's not like it's not something that seems like it's impossible. It's very, like what's a private jet? A couple, 20, 30 million. What's 20, 30 million? It's a number, dude.
Yeah.
Like you can get there. Everyone can get there.
And so many people have like there's like billionaires out there, which is like if you have a couple 20, 30 million, that's literally dollars compared to those guys.
You know what I'm saying?
And there's levels to everything. What do you guys use your spend your money on? Things that are important to you.
Me personally, food and just gifts for other people, man. Like
Yeah.
I usually don't spend any money on myself. I'm just like buying stuff for other people.
Yeah. Food's
Like, I
good.
get so much joy from like taking care of people around me.
Yeah.
What do you think it does for you?
I don't know, it just makes me feel like a provider. Like makes you feel like you're stepping into a very like masculine role. You know?
Being generous is again a very selfish feeling too.
Yeah.
it just feels so good. It's like let me help you out. Come on. Please.
Buying things feels good too. Like I like to spend money on food. We go out a lot, vacations, and just
Is there any place in the world that you want to go to that you haven't been?
Japan. I haven't been to Japan. Yeah, we really want to go to Japan because we love sushi, and that's generally where we go out. We just find the best sushi restaurants in LA, and we go there. But I want to go to Japan.
The one near Whatapeach is really good. Sushi Dan?
Sushi Dan, yeah.
Oh no.
There's better ones in LA.
Comparably,
I mean,
yeah.
compared to like the high end ones for sure.
Dude, not even the high end ones. You'll be surprised. There's one like a rundown area of the town. It's called Chiba. I don't know if you've.
Shiba.
I don't know how to. It's CHIBA. Chiba. Like that's my favorite. I mean, it's expensive. I'm more on the expensive side, but it's probably the best sushi okay, not the best. Third best sushi I had.
best.
But it's close. It's right.
Yeah.
It's like up the street.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do you guys have any hobbies?
We like to go fishing. We snowboard. Sometimes we
Do you guys
surf.
go to Big Bear this year?
Not yet. Yeah, we're just waiting for some snow.
A lot of
we-
hobbies.
It just rained.
Yeah, so it should be good.
We've been talking about. We just haven't gone
Yeah.
out. But like, we do a lot of stuff, man. We play tennis. We play racquetball.
We played competitive sports like our whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything that's like active, like
Yeah.
activity sports, we love it. Like
We have
snowboarding,
all-
surfing,
Yeah, we have like all the tools at home, like snowboards and racquetball things, tennis court things,
Golf.
basketball. Yeah,
We
golf.
should golf sometime.
we try all of them.
Yeah.
We should golf
Let's do
sometime.
We've never played a full game, so we usually just go.
We go to the range.
Go to the range.
Yeah,
Oh, we'll smack some balls around.
Yeah, if you're down to teach us how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
We hit pretty good, but we haven't like actually played a game.
It's more like a place to let some anger out. We
Yeah,
just hit
yeah.
the ball as far as possible.
smoke a cigar and just hit.
Oh, I
hit the
love
ball,
a good
yeah,
cigar.
yeah.
What do you call it for hobbies and stuff? Do you find those important?
Depends. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of my hobbies. It's nice to like shut your mind off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some people find like their creativity in the hobbies they do. I I don't know. It's nice. I think not only hobbies, just taking time away from work is very important. Even if you have to take like
why?
It really like the time you take to rest, it makes you so much more productive the next day when you get to shut your mind off a little bit, even if it's for a day, even for it's a few hours. Like you really get to rest your mind and then go twice as hard the next day.
Do you think it's necessary?
100%.
Just not to schedule that time off to do not work.
Not work, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever, like anything but work.
Yeah, it's
But
very.
you could do
important.
activities.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah. What do you call it? What has being a dad done for you in terms of changing perspective?
Man, it made me a completely better man.
How so?
Let me tell you this. So the day we were gonna announce, should I tell this story? Or? Yeah, whatever.
Which story you're
So-
saying.
The day we were gonna announce to our parents that my kid was gonna be born, I had a road rage incident where someone like cut me off, almost hit my car.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then he ended up coming out of the car and like, anyways, and like we got into a fight and they kicked this guy's ass. And, like, I felt horrible afterwards and completely like, even though it wasn't something that I started, it wasn't something that like I initiated or anything. I reflected on that and I'm like, okay, you're gonna be a father to a girl, a little girl that you're bringing onto the world, and you're outside fighting with someone else. Like, it wasn't even about the fight. It wasn't even about winning the fight. Like after that day, like I had blood all over my knuckles and like I had blood over my shirt, and I went home and my wife's like, what the hell? Like, you know, like after that, like I completely shifted my personality from this person that's like kind of active in the sense of like I'm angry or anger controls me, to this person of like tranquility and just I control my brain, you know. So that was even before she was born. After she was born, it built this like this thing inside of me where I'm like, okay, I'm not living life for myself anymore. I'm living my life for my daughter. So I have to be a completely better husband. So now with my wife, I'm more careful with the words that I say, even as jokes. You know, me and my wife are like really good friends, more than just being married as my wife. We're very good friends, so we spend a lot of time together. So sometimes jokes might sound mean, you know what I mean? And even though my wife doesn't take it in a mean way, like if my daughter hears it, I gotta keep that into consideration. Then she's gonna think like, oh, that's okay, you know? So I watch the way that I speak. The way I look at other women is completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at all other women as like they're my daughter, which is so weird. It's so weird. Like I have this like energy
I
towards.
can see that.
You know what I mean? Like there's a completely different energy with women in a sense where like I feel like I have to protect all women in the world just because of my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, like you don't go out like protecting women, but like it's just. You know, when you have a daughter, you feel like, I guess, in a sense, more of like a man, but it made me a better husband, it made me a better man, and it made me work harder because now I know I'm not just making money enough for myself, but I need to build enough of an empire where she could kind of utilize and use when she's older, and she could be successful off of my success as well. You know what I mean? So better husband, better man, better businessman.
Dang.
Papa John's.
Papa John's.
That's a slug.
Has been cool to see like his kid grow and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love being an uncle. I swear that.
Sometimes I
She's
feel like
my
she
wallpaper.
loves you more than she loves me, man. She loves my brother,
She's
dude.
my wallpaper. Like I love this kid so much. It's made me work harder too, because I'm like, I gotta make sure this kid has everything she'll ever need.
Oh, this chick's gonna be spoiled.
Oh, she is, dude. Yeah, I have another daughter coming up too.
Oh, congrats,
Yeah.
bro.
Thank you, man.
Dang,
Thank
we're
you.
building the family coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Well, fellas, thanks for coming on. That's all I had for you.
Nice, man.
And where can everyone find you guys?
You want to give your phone number for people to reach out to you directly?
Definitely. I mean, you guys could follow my personal Instagram. It's GERR.
We'll link everything, guys.
Yeah, Gerr did, GERR did. It's like when no one else believed in you, Gerr did. Because I do believe in everyone, man. I personally do believe that everyone has the opportunity to be the better version of themselves. I've been through the lows and I've gotten myself out of it. Anxiety, stress, depression. I've gotten myself out of it. Went from nothing to very successful. I'll get more successful, but pretty successful.
What's your
business.
definition of success?
Honestly, it's an unlimited access of money. So not just my personal assets, but just having such a big network where money is not something that I would even have to think about. If tomorrow I need a couple billion for an investment, I'll have that. And
Why is that your definition?
just because at that point, I feel like you would have a very nice savings of your own where money is not something that you worry about. Like if you need to buy something, you're not worried about the money. And then
Do you guys share a lot of the same definition of values of like, that's what you find successful as well?
I think so, similar, but I don't know. I see it a little bit more like, I don't know. Are you saying it more like comfort, more like being
comfort. Yeah. I mean,
not worried,
not worried.
not
Like
constantly on like defense, more on offense.
more on offense. Exactly. I mean, what would you say? Because like I'm thinking success, the ultimate success is like, okay, I'm done now. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And
But why would you want to be done?
done in a sense, like done with running, you know, like done with like trying new things and figuring out, like done in a sense where like I could sit back.
Don't
And-
you always want to try new things though? Don't you always be moving?
No,
that's what, like when we
I don't
talk
think so,
about
man.
that vision, it's like that's our enough, you know, like
Yeah.
when people say like what's enough, like we're really trying to define what's really enough for us, because it's not about like I don't want to live my whole life and just work to
Yeah.
build something amazing, you know, like I want to enjoy my life.
I want to stop at a certain point. Like I've always wanted 40 to be my retirement age. I want to just stop and okay, now I've built enough of an empire where the generation after my baby's generation can burn through or even expand on. And there's so much to see in the world. And I'm not saying I'm gonna be done
We're probably not gonna
investing.
be done.
I'm gonna be done working. Like
There's no way.
yeah. I don't know. I guess we won't know until we get there, huh?
Greg
Yeah.
said, "No way, you're coming with me, bro."
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know,
mind, man.
I know you. You're not gonna stop.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Look, my thing is, I want to go where I want, when I want. I want to go to Italy for lunch for some noodles.
Yeah.
I should probably not say
Some
no.
ramen.
Some ramen. Go to Japan for some ramen.
Oh, yeah.
Take the
I don't
kids
know.
with you.
I guess that's the thing. That it is like doing whatever you want, whenever you want, not worrying about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Heck
So-
yeah. So you wanna plug
Oh, yeah.
Whatapeach?
Well, Whatapeach. Oh my Whatapeach at. Wait. Oh my.
The Instagram handle
Yeah.
is oh my what a peach.
Yeah.
Go there, guys. It's honestly the best smoothie that I've ever had in LA. Like
Oh,
you
man.
guys did some really good work
Thank
there. It's so good.
Thank you, my brother. Come by tomorrow. We'll hang out, have a coffee if you
Okay,
like.
cool. Yeah, I'll come out and say hi.
And then the other company is Dawgfood
Dawg,
official.
yeah.
DAWG.
Those are the two babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the two. And your personal is Gerr.
Personal, this is something that me and my brother are working on too. If you guys want to get coached on how to start your own restaurant in the restaurant business, or if you want to, have someone to talk to if you're going through some anxiety or anything that you want to get out of, but mainly about business, starting off your own business, you could call or text me at 310-594-1930.
Oh, he put it out there, guys. Go
That's
hit him
the
up.
one. Yeah,
And
yeah.
thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
Peace. See you guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much for tuning back into the Nate Biltz Podcast. Also, if you could do me a favor, if you received any value out of this episode, please take the time to like and subscribe to the show. My goal is to keep growing this podcast and bring you the most creative and talented humans in the world. Pressing that little button will help me do just that.